And we're actually just going to go ahead and get right into it. Let's start talking about it. Tempo Storm versus Team Liquid, the second huge matchup for this week as far as standings are concerned. And really as far as like momentum's concerned, both of these teams have had very rough points in the seasons, but a lot of high points as well. Tempo Storm started off poorly, but in the past couple weeks have been cleaning up their communication. It seems like they've been bringing decks that have, better plans. And Team Liquid, they've sort of been in the same boat. A rough start for them, and they've looked unstoppable in the past few weeks. But here's the picks and bans. And keep in mind, each team bans 2 decks, and then they essentially self-ban their own deck. They exclude 1 deck from play to be left with 6 to play in the match. Shaman banned out for both teams, and then Rogue banned out for Tempo Storm, and Warrior banned out for Team Liquid. Are we going to see a Hunter again this week? We are!
Yeah, I know that Tempo Storm really likes Hunter, and by that, I mean Gar really likes Hunter. And when Gar really attaches himself to an idea, it's kind of hard to convince him otherwise, at least when it comes to classes like Hunter and Priest. He's a huge fan of those classes. And so I think he's just really resolute on playing that. Not to mention that Hunter does have decent results with Tempo Storm. They're the only team that's really be able to put Hunter on a decent streak. No other team has been able to accomplish that in the Team League. Yeah,
and Team Liquid seems to be the one team that Rogue gets lumped up for them all the time, despite them having some really great Rogue players on the team. Dog and Iria, stand out to me the most. Dog, of course, the Rogue expert, Druid expert, Mage expert for him. He won't be on the Rogue, but again, Druid and Mage for him. Then looking at the side of Tempo, Storm, VLPS, Priest, and Warrior, Gara, the Paladin, and the Hunter, and Just Saying will be on Mage and Druid. So they'll be piloting those decks, but as we've seen in the Trinity Series, they're all working together.
Yeah, I mean,
sharing is caring.
The whole point of Trinity is that the sum of the parts is greater than the whole itself. Or wait, is that actually what?
The sum of the whole is greater than all of the parts.
Yeah, something like that. Whatever the saying is, because right now it's just been nonstop blast action for us, so our brains are a little bit fried. The whole point is that when you guys put your collective minds together, you're able to figure out a strategy and basically cover each other's weaknesses. So if me and TJ were to work on Trinity Series lineup together, TJ would be able to shore up my play, and I'd be able to shore up TJ's awful decks.
Yes.
So that's kind of how we really benefit from each other.
I'm not very good at deck building.
TJ, for people who don't know, hit top 100 one season, putting Yogg-Saron in Zoo, and consequently triggered a series of deck building elitists.
Crane 333.
Crane being one of them. And really threw them out for a loop. So let's see if it ends up being the case here. Whoa! Frostbolt, Frostnova, Blizzard.
That looks to me like a little bit of a freeze mage start. Yeah. But again, all those cards could be a Reno mage.
It could be, but we haven't seen any indication that would hint towards Reno mage yet. So I'm already keeping my eye out for that. Team Liquid going to send out Nyria, one of the combo experts, and Anyfin Paladin. Nyria has played this deck a ton. Most likely a lot more than Dog and Show has, even though I'm sure they've put in their fair share of time.
Yeah, but I definitely, liked your point about collective minds. So you hear that, Twitch chat, you put your minds together, you can do anything.
Yeah. Or you can write jokes for Trinity Series.
Yeah, too, yeah.
And all right, Novice Engineer.
This is freeze mage. This is freeze mage.
Hold on, it still could be Reno mage, and yes, Loot Hoarder still could be in freeze Reno mage. All of it is part of the deck lists. You have a lot of card draw. You have ice lands. The only difference that you want to be actually, do you remember people used to put Reno Jackson in freeze mage? They played
Frozen.
Like 8 duplicates or so. They put like ice lands, frostbolts, ice blocks, of course, stuff like that. But then they have Reno Jackson just straight up in it.
Yeah, it was. Frozen was a big proponent of Malagos Reno freeze mage, but once Reno mage became an actual archetype, he was forced to let it go.
Yeah. It still actually ended up becoming. Oh, I see what you did there.
I'm
going to spare you the cringy follow-up of me singing the song, like so many other people would do.
I appreciate it.
So many young adult Asian males would do. Well, Team Liquid, they see this loot hoarder, and I think they can maybe start putting the pieces together. At the very least, it's a burn-heavy Reno Mage. At its worst, it's Freeze Mage, which puts them in a bad spot. Because the Finja and the build of... The Finja build of Anything Paladin has a little bit less heal. In general, heal has just been de-emphasized.
Yeah.
Actually, wait, hold on. I take that back. I see a Lay on Hands in the Paladin hand, so maybe it's not nearly as important.
They do have Lay on Hands, but Lay on Hands is very slow healing. It's not like Forbidden Healing where you can, just heal to full or, fit it in. If they Alexstrasza and you Lay on Hands, unless you have a board, you're not killing the Alexstrasza.
Right.
So the 8 you heal from Lay on Hands is going to be negated by the fact that your opponent has an 8/8. So
yeah, not to mention that cards like Evolve Kobold, you just save enough damage with Emperor Thorsan that they can't heal fast enough to compensate for the burn that you do over 2 turns with Alexstrasza plus extra burn here. So, bringing Freeze Mage back. That's kind of what guys like Saiyan loves doing. Guys like VLPS too. Those guys are 2 huge Freeze Mage players. They love this deck.
Don't forget about
you know what? Well, Gar has played Freeze Mage, but it's not something that he's...
Gara best Freeze Mage. That was his username for a long time, wasn't it?
Oh, how could I forget? Yeah, you're right, dude.
All right,
Gara best Freeze Mage.
Let's go and listen in to these teams as they navigate through these early turns.
I'm basically never frostbolting that, so I think I start out with Novice. Or do I just trade first?
I like the trade.
Do you trade anyways?
Do we ever just barrier here to start being able to drop the Acolyte into the ping next turn? If we go Novice here, is there a world where we maybe don't play the Acolyte next turn? Could they overdraw us?
I mean, they like never care about overdrawing us. I think we can play barrier later.
Okay. So I think Novice is fine. First.
I mean,
Either that or we trade first. We can trade first because we can draw Doomsayer and just ping face.
Yeah,
Okay.
makes sense.
Okay.
I hope you like my invention.
So if I
It
choose,
could be.
oh, we can coin Finja. We can coin Finja because there's a 1/1.
Yeah. It could be Reno still.
It's a high chance we get something.
Wait.
I mean, wait. If we coin, they can ping their own guy and do.
Yeah, they can ping their own guy and play Doomsayer. That's it.
We don't really mind if Finch dies, to be honest.
I don't know.
We got the 2 draws from Acolyte.
That's not that. I mean, I would still rather have the Murlocs.
Yeah, Murdoch seems better.
But if you play around it, how can they pressure us? Right? If they
Yeah,
don't get
they
the
really
Murloc
can't
out.
pressure us. He has to reveal it eventually. Yeah, I think it's the best play for sure.
So barrier ping.
Yeah.
Were they playing Rag in their list? I don't think so. I think it's a very defensive list with like almost no pressure.
No pressure. Well, double True Silver champion with a bunch of Murlocs already in hand. Well, a bunch. And by a bunch, I mean 2. 50% of the Murlocs. Then they could pressure. We'll see. Tempo Storm, pinging the Novice Engineer prevents them being able to be pressured this turn. But eventually they're going to have to play a minion. That Acolyte of Pain is going to have to come down at some point. And I think Team Liquid is very willing to play the game of chicken where they're just going to keep that Finja stealth. Well, I guess if you draw Arcane Intellect, you don't have to play the Acolyte.
Yep, they can stall and just assemble combo pieces. Those are 2 cards that are crucial for this matchup. They also have Icelands and Frostbolts with the Evolved Kobold, meaning that it's just going to be an extended range of burst here. Now, it's been a while since I've played the Evolved Kobold version, but it doesn't take a mathematician to know that this is a crazy amount of damage that Team Liquid will have to cover, and they don't have heal in their hand outside of Lay on Hands.
Yeah, this is... Tempo Storm can go Emperor Thorsan next turn, Alexstrasza on turn 8, and then they'd have Evolved Kobold, Frostbolt, Ice Lance, and Fireball. Holy moly.
Pretty high damage Finja. And now they also see that both World Leaders are out, so pulling both of those bluegills would be insanely powerful. Now they have to deal with this.
Yeah.
So I think you have enough burst anyways to now that you have Torch, and you can invest it and you're going to eventually draw stuff, that you could probably end up parting ways with some of your burn here by Fireball and Torch. You can kill both the War Leaders that way. Inja goes back down to a 2-4.
Yeah.
I don't know if you want to actually just drop Ember Thorsan, because it just feels like it's a turn. Yes, you can play Alex Draw the following turn, but then you're just taking so much damage on the back end.
Yeah, that's. I mean, you bring up a great point. I think they again, like you said, they have enough bursts. They can just wait a turn to play Emperor, wait a turn to play Alex, and still be in an okay spot. But now let's go and listen into Team Liquid.
Keeper as well.
I mean, do we? If we think it's Reno Mage,
Well,
Do we need to slam the Peacekeeper? We don't.
I don't think they have Flame Strike, and if they have Flame Strike, is even a big deal. Like, we just want pressure.
No, I don't
Yeah.
think we play. I don't think we play Aldor. It's our only way to deal with Big Boy.
but what big boys do they have? Alex?
When are they going to get a chance to play a big boy? If they so if they are Reno Mage, that's the only reason to keep Peacekeeper, because we have the.
But we don't add that much of damage on board. We add a +2/+2, but we remove the huge ability to swing the.
Can we Pyromancer
Wait.
then? I guess it's no.
Actually, I think it's just hero power. It's
All
fine.
right, hero power is fine, I guess.
Yeah, it's okay.
And next turn we just Tyrion and swing.
I think I'm going Acolyte Ping this turn.
Yeah, you think so? Is it worth?
Without the blue jewels, he still will not have. He still has to draw the blue jewels before he
The
can.
thing is, I have to draw eventually, and next turn I have Blizzard anyway, so I buy one more turn before.
We give his anything like immediate impact though on turn
Give him
10.
2 blue jewels.
If we just go Torch Ping here, like he has to draw the bluegills before he can play the turn 10 anything.
So you wanna go Emperor with the Nova draw then later?
So I think the Torch is actually better here. We could honestly just play a naked Acolyte for 1 draw. I don't hate it, just because we still have like.
I hate that. No.
You hate that? Yeah, I mean I don't hate holding. I don't hate holding either. We're under not too much pressure, but I think the Torch is
Yeah, I
definitely.
think we're holding. I think we're gonna go Acolyte Ping next turn.
Yeah,
as long
still
as he's
have
not
4.
playing Ragnaros of Firelord next turn, I think we're fine, right?
Yeah, we still have 4 freezes.
Don't need run Tyrion.
Yeah, this is okay.
Yeah,
No,
I think their
really
anythings
that
are
much
dead cards
pressure.
now for a long time.
So there should be. Is there any way they can proc?
I think we play the Acolyte now, because he has to have the second True Silver to punish.
And I play Blizzard, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
You think so?
Yeah. Still have 2 Frost Novas. We have our second Blizzard. We're going to draw our Frost Novas before you can start dealing damage with his board.
I don't know.
Definitely seems like Tempo Storm is going more towards the OTK plan as opposed to the Alex and then try and kill him the following turn. Judging by their plays, just because, they could have Emperored, then Alex, then I believe they had 21 points of burn I counted. So they're playing around the possibility of a Forbidden Healing by trying to go for a 1-turn kill, and they think that they have enough time to do that. So we'll see if that's going to be the case. They're not too worried about anything.
Not at the moment. Ooh, Team Liquid not going to do anything with that Missions of Mixtures. Oh, Temple Storm runs into another Acolyte. But do they feel like maybe this is the time to do it? Versus do they want to set up even better stall if they set up Doomsayer this turn so that they could draw more and then get a better Emperor hand, which ultimately leads to Alex draws. It's one of those things where you have to really evaluate whether or not your opponent can punish you or not. Because on 10 mana, your opponent would play anything, but the most damage they can do is just 13 right back.
So counting up the evolved Kobold damage right now, it's 5 + 6 + 8. 19?
Yeah, 19 if you're going to follow it up on Alexstrasza. It all is within the mana cost too. You don't even need Emperor to do that.
But again, probably worried about the potential for Forbidden Healing.
I don't know about using any of the resources here at this disposal. I mean, overriding the weapon right now with Tyrion's Ashbringer does reduce a little bit of heal, does produce a little bit of power. But that is one of your torches.
Yeah, they still do have one torch and one fireball left in the deck, and if they draw second Ice Lance, they can still piece together 30 damage with Evolved Kobold.
Wow, Sunwalker, what year am I living in?
Sunwalker, what is that good against?
We haven't seen this card really make an appearance in Construct decks since mid-2014, right after Naxxramas came out. And right before GVG, it was... Or sorry, right before Naxxramas came out, or is it right after? No, it had to be right before.
Yeah.
Because Naxxramas started doing a bunch of Death Rattle decks. Let's go ahead and tune into what the teams are talking about as we're coming up on some of the crucial, pivotal turns in this match.
Sunwalker? I haven't seen this card in a while.
So they will progress no matter what.
We can always defend the Alex. We don't really need the Alex, but then if he has
we just Blizzard and double Doomsayer here.
yeah, he can still pop us though. But
Like he progress 100%.
if he has double anything, I think we lose. But he still has 11 cards in his deck.
I mean, the thing is, he
Not
can't
like-
proc us and do everything
That
else.
board,
It's-
yeah.
Ever want to dump a Doomsayer from our hands?
We'll see after the draw.
Yeah. Go ahead and draw.
Yeah, it's
Maybe
it's
even
pretty pointless to have it in our hand, right?
Yeah, and our lay on hands will probably get wrecked. So I think we attack in, and then we play one Doomsayer. Or do we?
Or do we bump 2?
Yeah, that's what I'm
It
trying
could,
to
it,
think.
it could be good to have like Pyro Equality and then one Doomsayer at least.
I'm trying to think how much burn they have. They haven't used a Frostbolt. They probably have Ice Lances in their hand. Like it's kind of scary.
I mean,
We
they
definitely
need
dump one
Emperor
Doomsayer,
first.
right?
Yeah. Question is Acolyte or second Doomsayer?
Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7,
We
8
need to-
cards will be 9.
We might need to lay next turn. Well, no, it's actually bad for us.
This is really bad.
One off. Maybe the Emperor Bear is better.
You
But
have
if
to
not, I think we
Emperor,
have the Alex. Can't let
It's
the
the last-
pop go off.
You have to Emperor, right?
They probably have everything they need if they're wasting that. Yeah, so we have the Alex.
Wait,
No, we have to. We have to. Can't let now. Now there's nothing that pops us here. We have Emperor Nova.
6 damage only.
Yeah, so Aldo, right? And Wicker Flame. No, we don't need to play Wicker Flame, right?
We can. It doesn't matter really.
Yeah, because
I mean,
we don't have the burn. We have a forbidden. There's no way they can burn us out, right? They can OTK us, I guess. That's the only consideration. But Wicker Flame doesn't help against the OTK.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wicker Flame seems okay.
And they already used
Wait. What if we just play second Aldor?
What if they play Emperor? How do we can't face tank it?
Okay.
You just play Weaker Flame. Fine. Call the weapon.
Okay.
A defensive Alexstrasza from Temple Storm. Interesting, but I guess it's tailored towards their hand. They realize that they're going to have to win with OTK. They're trying to play around the possibility of healing and give themselves the maximum amount of time before their block is popped. They're trying to get a guaranteed win instead of taking the risk and going for the quick win. But it's not guaranteed.
Yeah, it's not guaranteed right now because let's count how much damage they have. They have 2 Ice Lances, a Frostbolt, and a Fireball, so that's 17 plus 8, 25.
They can fit in a ping with that too.
They could
so
also
26.
fit in the second Roaring Torch right now. So that would put them at 30 in one turn. That's unstoppable from Team Liquid's side.
Yeah, or second Frostbolt would also do it. So they have 2 outs from their deck.
Let me think.
Right, the second Frostbolt could also do it as well.
Yeah.
Anything just to full up the board here and try to remove part of that Emperor. But 9 cards remaining. Frost Nova is more stalled. They could ping the face as well. One of the really scary things is that they do have heal in the form of the the Paladin Legendary, the Burn Bristle, so it's going to be too tricky for them to stall past this. They've already used 2 Blizzards, 2 Frost Novas, but they have 2 draws out of 8, so 25% to win the next turn. And then if they don't draw it that turn, then they have another turn afterwards. They have 2 turns, assuming their pop doesn't get Ice Block doesn't get popped. Actually 3, because they could also draw an Ice Block number 2.
Just draw Ice Block
so
number 2.
3 out of the 8 draws are hot for Tempo Storm, and Liquid doesn't have anything else they can do about it. They can just wait. Because it's very clear what Tempo Storm's trying to do. They're just trying to draw the last piece of damage here.
Just trying to get that last King of Spades to make all the cards fly in their face. Let's go and listen in now, these teams, as they get closer to the end of this game.
Yes, we play Mistress.
We play Mistress.
Let me think.
That's fine. So if they have another burn spell, they lose anyways, but... Or they win anyways, but yeah. And this isn't counting Thalamus, it's just evolved.
Does barrier stop the pop at all?
No.
I think.
20. No, it
Should
doesn't.
not. He can trade off the 1/1, and he gets 2 blue jewels back, most likely.
No, he already has like 29 on.
Okay, only 2 Warriors. I mean, 2 Warriors died, right? It's 50-50.
Yeah, so that's no reason to play it.
But what else to do, though?
No, we definitely can't waste any burn or we lose. So we just have to hope we draw into one of the 2 outs next turn, or draw into the second
But we
block.
have no more freezes.
Doesn't matter. We just win
Yeah,
if we draw the burn.
doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
So yeah, we're still fine. Like we can either draw intellect to block,
Where's
or
my
we can.
ice block, baby?
Wait, what if he gets... Okay,
Where's
if he
my
gets 2
burn?
Warriors... If he gets 2 Warriors, he still proxies, right?
If he doesn't do anything, he proxies. He just has proc.
Well, I mean, if we kill with Finja, like we trade a 1/1 and we conk, we pull the bluegill. It's a lot of damage.
We don't need to pull a blue kill.
But it's
and
the same
it's not
damage
any more
between,
damage,
yeah.
it's the same amount of damage, yeah.
What are you talking about?
It's the same amount of damage if we pull it with Finja.
No. Oh yeah, it's the same. Yeah, it's 1 less even.
Can we pop them this turn?
So we have 16, 18, 20, 28, 29. Yeah, we
Yeah,
can.
so we can. Okay.
But do we sacrifice the pleb?
No, we don't, because we're 29. So 29 and 30.
They have another freeze. We can get bluegill.
They don't have
They
another
don't have freeze.
They're out of
Oh, okay.
freezes. Can we save our weapon? Yeah, we can, right?
Yeah.
Sure.
Sick.
Move quickly.
Do we bump our guy?
Huh?
We just pass,
This is
right?
Yeah, we just passed. This is it. Alright, so they can still win if they just rip the torch or the fireball.
Oh my god, no, we just lose if we don't get ice block.
If we draw. All right, we gotta get ice block. Wait, can
Come
he
on, ice block.
ice block, please?
If we find ice block, we win 100%, right?
Yes, 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 yes. But he heals for 2, so he's gonna be at 30.
Yeah.
No, it's a 66%
Wait,
chance.
wait,
I think
wait,
it's
wait,
Blood Mage.
wait,
No,
wait,
play
you
the Blood
played
Mage,
the
it's
Thomas?
100%.
Yeah, you played the Thomas.
Yeah, it's 100%. Oh my god, thank God. Yeah, just play the Blood Mage, it's 100%.
What do you mean 100%?
Oh,
you only
it's
have
so
2 outs. What do you mean 100%?
No, it's 100% now.
It's 100%. We have 2 outs. We have a Roaring Torch and a Frostbolt. So even if we
Crazy.
we're draw lethal no matter what, unless this guy plays Cold Light Oracle. But I don't think it's
We have Frostbolt and Roaring Torch and Loot Water. How is it?
Yeah, it's 100%. It's 100%.
It's 100%.
Oh, yeah,
Frostbolt, Roaring
yeah,
Torch.
never mind. Never mind, it's 100%. Yeah. It's 100%.
Oh, thank God, dude.
You just scared me. Yeah.
All our cycles in the bottom. That's how you lose this matchup. This matchup
No,
is
he plays
very
low
short,
tap.
but-
No, you go Secret Keeper. Or what is it? Not Secret Keeper.
Guys, I wasn't even scared. I knew this was in the backs.
I'll be honest, dude. Finn just made this matchup a lot more annoying. Wow.
Do you know what's annoying? Do you know what's actually a little bit embarrassing? If they have double Forbidden Healing in hand, and they actually gave us the Blood Mage out.
Yeah, that would have been really embarrassing for them.
I don't know if they were thinking about Blood Mage too much. All I just know is they don't have Kazakus for armor, which is nice.
I mean, what could our cards be, right? I mean,
There's nothing Paladin that gains armor, right? I'm not crazy. Maybe just a little bit.
we haven't even seen Ivory Knight, so nothing.
There's the loot porter.
Oh my god, are you kidding me? Imagine someone took out. Well, a bit too late.
Someone took out our frostball or our fireball. Yeah. Could happen.
Crazy game. All right, good job, guys.
Just don't do the ACOP now.
Press F in the chat for Ice Lance. Pay
No
respects.
more Ice Lances. This is our last time we could use Ice Lance, so obviously we're playing Freeze Mage.
Yeah. Peter's gonna hate, man. What the hell is what the hell is this deck they're playing, bro?
I don't know. I didn't get a window.
I'll be right back, guys.
What in the world?
Yeah, raise your ice lances, or in this case, / in the chat.
Yeah. Well, that's a pretty big win for Tempo Storm because that deck is one I'm sure they brought specifically to counter. Maybe not Murloc Paladin exactly, but you know, the opening.
Yeah,
Teams are getting predictable.
Yeah. To get a win in the very beginning is really important for the counter strategies. So yes, Tempo says, well, you know, maybe we might lose Freeze Mage in the next game. Who knows? But even if we do, we have the advantage moving forward, and we'll take that lead and ride it. Because if you look, Tempo Storm is playing both Paladin and Hunter this week. That is very unusual.
It is. It's incredibly unusual. And one thing to note is that they have two sort of, I want to call them aggressive matchups, but they have two of those anti-aggro, or sorry, anti-control decks with Warrior and Hunter still left on the table. So like they're going to be fine against Druid. They're going to be, you know, fine against Reno Warlock. Even Rogue to a certain extent. So it seems like they have all of their matchups lined up, and it doesn't always play out that way, as we've seen, as we saw in the last series where everything was mixed up. No matchup made sense. Nobody was winning in the right context.
Yeah. That's what makes it fun, though, because if everything was just super predictable in terms of the matchup, like the moment you cube the matchup, the game was decided at that point, it wouldn't be worth playing it out. It wouldn't be fun at all. That's the whole point of favorable versus unfavorable. Sometimes you get lucky. Sometimes you get the right draws. Sometimes your opponent gets the worst draws. Sometimes you both get equal draws that are both just bad, and you have to scrap it out, and that's what makes some of the most fun games, I think, because they're very unusual situations.
It was an entire gaming industry built off of building something and then letting an AI take control. The sports games where you build a team, like MLB The Show.
Oh, fantasy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not fantasy, but...
Oh, Diamond Dynasty. Yeah, that's what they call it. I started playing the show like a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
It's like super overpowered. It's got like a 600.
Nobody's ever done that. In all sports games ever created. I know there's going to be a lot of people that don't get this. In all sports games ever created, you build a team and then you let the AI simulate your games instead of playing them out.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So you're calling like Football Manager and stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It's kind of the same thing too. You just like assemble free agents from all different kinds of teams. And stuff like that. Yeah.
It's pretty cool. But Hearthstone would not be cool if that was the case.
That game, TJ.
Yeah, but
maybe we're all part of some simulated program. Or at least that's sometimes how it feels, right?
Whoa, man. So crazy, dude.
Word.
Let's get into some Hearthstone so I can take my mind off this.
Open your eyes. Stay woke, fam.
Amen.
Stay woke. TJ just gave me a bow.
Thank you, Master Frodan.
Well, as you guys can see, we have Jade Druid up against the Freeze Mage. I actually haven't played much of this matchup, so let's go ahead and listen in directly and see what these guys are thinking.
Riven Idols, right?
Yeah.
So I guess we have to keep that in mind that we might just treat the list as if they run double Feral Rage, but okay.
We didn't see Rack or Emperor. But too much.
I've seen better Freeze Mage hands, but okay. They kept 2 cards.
Just play it. I'm back. Sorry.
Okay. I was thinking like, disconnected or something.
No. So I just
They
play it,
kept
right?
one card. They kept one card on the left.
Okay.
It's fine to play it. It's gonna get in 1 for sure damage.
I'll probably coin here.
Yeah, it's worth wasting it. Sucks, but
Because if they have wild growth, then he makes the trade and the next one sticks into turn 4.
yeah.
I'm actually okay with it.
This matchup, pure mana is very, very important. I would always call out the loot over here. And you most definitely have to play a secret on turn 3.
Yeah, just play the second one.
They kept another card, so it must be Innovate, right? They would have
No,
used
it's
like-
probably just the Jade Blossom, yeah.
An aggressive use of the coin.
Yeah, I think that's really smart. You know, the key to winning this game isn't just saving, coin for something. I mean, most Freeze Mage lists have cut Archmage and Tinnitus a lot of times, like a long time ago, in order to make their deck list really lean and draw through efficiently.
Lean, mean, Hearthstone winning machines. Oh, wow. Tempestorm has already assembled many pieces of their combo.
Yeah.
And they have Emperor Thorsan already in the hand. So now it's just about staying alive and holding on to enough burn to close out the game. One interesting thing to note is Tempestorm. The way they approach this matchup, they said, we need to approach this and make a game plan assuming Team Liquid has double Feral Rage, which isn't something we've seen many teams run, but it's just something to keep in mind that if you're going into a matchup that's pretty tough, sometimes you have to account for things that you don't know and try and assume the worst.
Yeah, exactly. Double Feral Rage is really good against aggro. Gives you a lot of early game play to remove things, Totem Golem, for example, or use it defensively in case you need to stay alive from burn. But if you're going to ban out the aggressive matchups in this kind of format, then why not play a little bit greedier, like anti-control stuff, such as Double Mulch? It feels like it fits a little bit better.
The Double Mulch. It's been a popular choice here in the Trinity Series.
Yeah.
Debate here for Team Liquid between Jade Spirit and Azure Drake. Armor does matter in this matchup, so fitting and shapeshifts actually has some merit, but they're going to opt to put Azure Drake on the board, get that spell damage rolling, and cycle a little bit more through their deck.
Yeah, now Tempestorm's is a little bit an awkward spot because they use Arcane Intellect. They're going to overdraw, and they have to play one of their other spells out. They could end up dumping their Frostbolt if they want to increase their hand size, but then they have Emperor Thorsan as well, and when you reduce things like Cobalt with Frostbolt and Ice Lance, you're giving up a lot of potential range there. Perhaps they remove again this turn. Maybe they want to develop a secret as well.
Looks like secret development is going to be the choice.
Yeah, just hopefully the Ice Barrier can buy them enough time so they don't fall too far behind. Liquid's going to be on the play here. Let's listen in and see what they're thinking.
How big is Aya?
We play the ward. Aya is a 3/3 Jade.
Yeah, just war.
It's good to start hero powering here, for real. Like now we have the board and we can deal with Doomsayer.
Oh, oops, I didn't play on Bay Price. Whatever. But if something like that happens, I guess I'm sorry. I don't know.
Some of our anti-list, they know we don't have Flame Strike. A little bit questionable.
Yeah, our last card could have been Flame Strike if they weren't paying attention, because we did have an extra card in the hand.
But they also haven't seen the second loot order, so...
I like Aya trading the war.
Yeah, I like that too.
I don't like Swipe because we don't have an answer for Doomsayer then.
Exactly.
Okay. Start building the armor.
Yep.
Golems are a girl's best friend.
Also, this might set up for lethal.
We don't know
Not even
yet, but
kidding.
it might.
Like, this is a lot of damage. This
I mean,
is,
they didn't use a single freeze yet, so it's becomes now. Like all the breezers and stuff.
And Emperor's so strong. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I guess freeze
Probably worth going for
They
it.
run
but,
double mulch.
I mean,
They
they
don't
still have
definitely
both
mulch.
wraths. I honestly think it's going to get dealt with. It's better to cycle.
Yeah.
So, like, the chance of getting another Nova or another board freeze is pretty high.
Yeah, at this point, I don't see any Doomsayer ever going off, right?
We also have to establish the ice block when we can. Like, next turn might even be an ice block blizzard turn.
How much damage?
Tempestorm cycled a lot early on, and they've already assembled their combos. Now it's about just staying alive until they piece together enough damage.
Yeah, and they're really astutely pointing out that Doomsayer would probably never activate, so they'd rather spend their turns drawing and setting up everything they need. They need to have the ice block, they need to draw into more burn. Most importantly, they need to pick up something like Alex Straza or additional burn to finish off the game, because either way, they're a little bit off right now. If you count up all the damage they have, I think it's 24 that they would be able to assemble through the Cobalt and the Forgotten Torch, plus all the burn.
Oh, another Agent of War. And this sort of reminds me of the old days, you know, with a couple added cards that Freeze Mage versus Druid was a matchup that we actually saw a lot, especially back, if you think like back to spring, I believe, was about the time this matchup was super popular. And then even going further than that, back in the combo days in winter.
Yeah, precisely. Tempo has the ability to go for Blizzard and Ice Block as their way to optimize their mana usage, while simultaneously developing that Ice Block to make sure that they can afford to burn over a couple turns. Doomsayer just seems like it's going to be dead. I think drawing with Acolytes is also a priority, but not dying is their first priority here.
Yeah, so they have 19 damage with Kobold at the moment. So they also need to find additional damage, whether it be second Ice Lance, getting that Forgotten Torch in the deck, and drawing the Roaring Torch. Currently, they have 7 mana's worth of Kobold when burned.
They have 24 with the Forgotten Torch, right?
Yeah, 24. Yeah, but let's go ahead and listen into Team Liquid.
Yeah, try to get heal.
Raven Idol, right?
Yeah.
Naturalize. Or
You
Wisps.
can overdraw them.
Yeah, naturalize is fine.
And then we go with Jade Blossom.
Yeah.
Naturalize so we can actually cycle more to get our second idol.
Because they almost definitely Alex us here.
Wait, the thing is, Acolyte will get mulched if we play one, right? We have to expect it, with not seeing a mulch and expecting them to run double mulch. Also, if the auctioneer being there.
They're worth going for the Acolyte Ping Nova.
No. I think go Acolyte Torch. Then we have a block out as well to buy us one more turn. And we don't put too much damage in our deck. So we put him to 28.
You liked it more than playing double torch. If you find one Roaring Torch, we win, right?
Assuming they have no heal. Would we have enough with the Roaring Torch? Would have 16 plus
that might be the
11,
line
27. Yeah, I don't hate the double torch. Double torch Acolyte.
But the problem is if you play one
Acolyte gets mulched. Acolyte gets mulched.
Yeah, the Acolyte does get mulched.
I'd rather go double Acolytes one.
But if you don't play double torch, we don't have the mana. Nothing else.
I like the torch double Acolyte. I think it's fine.
You know what I mean? Yeah, sure. If you get double mulch, you just.
It also gives us more outs to draw the second block. But then we have no outs to have lethal. I don't know, it's close. I don't hate it.
What I mean, no outs to have lethal. Right now it's 24.
If we double torch face, we have an out to get lethal. Whereas now we don't.
It's just like the game is going to go a little bit longer than we expected is all. And the Acolytes just came at such a bad time.
If you find Icelands, that's 30 damage, right?
Doing one right now. We start with Mulch.
Yeah. It's fine.
Starting with Mulch.
Now Jade Idol.
We have 2 innervates left also.
Do we Jade Idol, right?
Yeah, and then Roots.
We don't shuffle in.
No, we don't. How do these attacks go? Let's see. 5, 5, 4. We punch in with the Auctioneer into the Acolyte, right?
We can draw.
No.
Yeah, we patch 5-1 into Acolyte.
Okay. Let me make the attacks and pop his block really fast.
Yeah, pop his block first. Oh wait, no, don't pop him because we can Roots face.
For no one.
Do it faster, Roots face after the 4 attack.
Cycle. The rat.
Yeah, cycle rest. A hero power.
Let's see what I draw. Got idle, but I can't use it.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, that was fun. That was good.
Ah. We have to draw a block.
Yes. If you don't find block, we lose.
Let's just make sure. How much do we have? 8.
It's
Now we have 24. Ah.
I hope you
But we
like
had to go for this one. There was no other way. We had to go for Alex top deck, or we can Iceland's face, but they haven't played any swipe yet, and they play. Yeah, I think it's 100% that we are dead with the opportunity being up, because they have still both inner weights. It's literally 100%.
Don't be like that.
It's 100%.
Can we?
But also we.
Are we supposed to use Frostbolt Ice Lance here?
I think you saved the Frostbolt for our second Ice Lance, just Ice Lance.
Time runs out on me.
But
How do we win?
yeah, I don't.
Because I checked it.
You see double doomsday. But they weren't discounted, right? So they drew it. Okay, doesn't matter then.
Alright, what do they counter with?
Well, the Freeze Mage got one win, and I think that's what Tempo Storm was hoping for, and they got the first one, so they have counter advantage. So not the end of the day for them.
Well, there's a theory that once you eliminate all the aggressive decks that can really pressure, and including banning Warrior too, then Freeze Mage will just really take over, because Druid has to account for a wider range of stuff. So if they play double Feral Rage consistently, then they're going to be weaker in other matchups. So you want to play double Mulch.
Yeah.
That would open up the door for Freeze Mage. I know Laughing, for example, was talking a lot about how in Trinity Series he expected Freeze Mage to do a lot better. People didn't seem to pick up on that yet. Reno Mage kind of still took a lot of the preference, with Tempo Mage making an appearance, but Freeze Mage is still potent sometimes, and that game actually still got pretty close. Tempo Storm still had an opportunity to win the game despite being backed in the corner several times.
Yeah, despite the good hand, lots of other ran from Team Liquid, but we're going to see if Team Liquid can keep up the streak on the Druid here. We're going to go to a break. Don't go anywhere, guys. More Trinity Series right after this.
Who's that pro?
Why would they try to trick us? Like, that's... Oh boy, they really got us with that trick. Boy, man, oh boy, they got us.
It's dog.
Why would they try to trick us? Like, that's. Oh boy, they really got us with that trick. Boy, man. Boy, they got us.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Hearthstone Trinity Series presented by ESL and Twitch. My name's TJ, joined by Frodanicus Maximus II.
The third. Unless I time traveled and somehow become my dad.
The third. That would be
or
hilarious.
Are you my dad, TJ?
That would be a hilarious scenario, though. So disappointing that that's not the case. But it's time to jump into game number 3, Tempo Storm versus Team Liquid. What's Team Liquid's team motto? Do you know?
Gloves off, shirts on.
Versus become legendary.
Something like that. I don't know.
The kid gloves are coming off.
I wish it was the other way around, though. Gloves on.
Shirts off. As do
Craiggasm.
Ooh. Just got a shiver up my spine. But talking about this matchup in particular, Dragon Priest versus Druid. Dragon Priest, this matchup actually has been under a lot of debate recently. A lot of players think that Dragon Priest is favored, and statistics show that Dragon Priest is favored. But I know there's some competitive players and pro players who are, adamantly saying that they think Druid is actually, even if not favored a little bit. One of the people that says that the most is That's Admirable, who was a guest on Trinity Series early on in the year. He will argue to his grave that Druid is favored in this matchup. And, I've talked to a couple of other, pros and some of the practice groups that I listen in on, and a lot of times they think it's even if at the very least. So it's all about that early pressure. If Dragon Priest can get off to an explosive start, if they can get that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 curve, then they're in a fantastic position. But if they miss a couple drops along the way, and the Druid can ramp up their Jades and ramp up their mana.
What?
It was for dramatic effect. Jeez.
Oh. We all know that you're supposed to echo it in order to create dramatic effect.
Ramp. The last one was a whisper. That's not how echoes work, TJ.
Yeah.
The last one's not a whisper. It's just a quieter version of the original.
It has to get deeper.
Jeez.
Can we get some more reverb on our mics production? So much that it sounds like we're in a giant stadium, Olympic stadium. Wow.
Rip.
Yeah, we've gone off the deep end. We've been casting too long. Team Liquid is debating for a long time if they want to ramp. Speaking of ramp. Jade Blossom does help them accelerate into their further turns, but then they have to deal with the card draw. They don't want to do that. So they end up removing. And it ends up being the right call here, at least for one turn. I do want to pull up the stats. It does show that Jade Druid is only slightly unfavored, 47-53. So maybe Admiral is onto something, and we'll use that as our lead-in to listen to the team comps.
Because then we can go Hero Power Blossom. Yeah, Spirit's really good because we can go Hero Power Blossom and then War. And then, yeah.
We don't play War ever.
Well, we probably don't War, but we might.
Unless we are super ahead, yeah.
It's worth thinking about if you just go face and not.
That's what I'm contemplating.
If you play the
Or playing
crosses,
double Trinity.
Yeah.
I think we go
think there's
face.
anything for us to trade, yeah. Go face.
Like we're playing double 9/9s.
Mulch. It will kind of play around Mulch.
We're okay if they watch this, and then
But
we play
we're-
operative.
Yeah, we have a 5/6
okay.
coming down.
Some or Nourish. What if we Blossom here instead of Jade Spirit?
Actually, it might be better.
Then we
Because
can Nourish into that.
I think getting bored is a little better. I mean, we could Nourish into Wrath. That's definitely true.
So if we play the Jade Spirit, we'll get a 2/2 3/3 and a 2/3 2/3 additionally.
I don't like the bigger board though. Like,
how weak is it to Nova also?
No,
Like
it's not
what's
weak. We'll have 2 3 HP targets. 3 HP targets.
yeah. I
okay?
think Spirit Idol is better.
Yeah, like Tempo seems like the best way to win.
We don't even have anything to play with Nourish. Like it's only one res.
Do I bump in the 1/1 ever?
I think it's fine.
I mean, they can't Nova. I don't feel like it's needed, right?
It's not
If
really
they-
needed, yeah.
Okay, I just want them.
I mean, they can Nova, but if they do Nova, it's not a strong play, so it's
Yeah.
fine.
Well, we don't have a strong follow-up is the thing. Like, if we had Jade Behemoth, this play would be amazing.
I mean, they
I think.
I mean, the Blackwing is a
kinda-
pretty sick. The Blackwing silence is a pretty sick answer to the.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we
Yeah,
could
I
get
think
more
it's
value from.
operative, for sure, right?
Yeah, so we
Operative?
can get more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Operative
Yeah.
can just look for some kind of removal, some kind of like swipe or something, right?
We have a turn 6 play, so I like the Ancient of War. Especially
Last
knowing they have the
time War
mulch
was
in their
pretty
deck.
good. Yes.
Yeah, they might not even have an answer to the war.
I agree.
sure.
I agree. The match is not that good.
So
It's
the
like-
2/7 into the 2/2. Do we go the 3/4 into the 2/3 value trade?
Yeah, you have to value trade here and play around swipe, believing it too, right?
Yeah.
I think it's okay.
Because they run Raven Idols, we don't blown out by some force of nature. What is it called? The 4-mana card.
Well, the thing is,
Well, this game
Did
starting
you
to
hear
get.
Was that you?
No. I think someone in the production room may have just died.
Yeah.
Apologies for that, guys. You didn't hear it, but
All right. We weren't sure because there's a large pocket of air that just seemed to have left somebody's mouth as they were cutting back to us. Well, looks like Team Liquid's fighting back for the board in the best way they know how, but they're running out of resources, which is what Nurse is supposed to fulfill. So I really like that they've been playing as tempo-oriented as they can while still juggling in the ramps. It took them that long, though, to play Jade Blossom. That's how much of a deviation from the normal line that they take. And I like it. You know, so many times we're just reluctant to say, okay, I guess they draw cards, but let's ramp and get ahead of the mana crystals. And they've really tried to keep the Temple Storm from running away with just having resources. But look at Temple Storm's hand; they still managed to get a good resource count, even though they didn't have any draws from the Northshire Cleric.
not bad. They do have one, not dead card, but almost dead with Silence. Silence doesn't hit many targets in this deck. You can't silence a Jade, back down.
Interesting. Well, Innervate normally is like the strongest individual card because Fandral obviously doesn't work with anything except Ancient of War, and Gadget Sand's a little bit awkward to use. But at the same time, Innervate, this is like super late into the game, so does Innervate have as much of an impact compared to Gadget Sand? You do have Silence, for example.
Yeah, and you do have Shadowward Pain, but how many times are you going to get value to Shadowward Pain as this game goes on? Probably not very much because the Jades are already past that stage. Maybe like second Jade Spirit or I don't even know, Living Roots token. They seem that they don't run Mire Keeper, but Silence, there's merit to Silence, and a 4/4 on the board could just present another threat that's sort of a must answer.
Yeah.
I don't know, Priestess runs very little spells because even if they allow the Gadget Oxygen to stick on board, what's the likelihood that they...
Oh, interesting.
Oh, this is actually, this is smart. I like this.
All right. Yeah, healing kind of does the same thing, except they get to keep Shadow Word Pain in the hand and use it on another target. And with Jade Behemoth not being used as it comes to the hand, that's a good reminder of what Shadow Word Pain could be used.
Yeah, I forgot about Jade Behemoth. I knew we just talked about this earlier. Shadow Word Pain can be really good, but in a very specific situation. And I was like, God, there's got to be some other Jade Behemoth. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry for misleading anybody that is like playing ladder right now as they're watching and didn't hold on to their Shadow Word Pain because I told them that Jade Druid didn't have any targets.
TJ. It's okay. It's not your
No, it's not okay, Dan.
It's not your fault, TJ.
It's not okay.
It's not your fault.
But Jade Behemoth's still a pretty good play here. Assuming that they don't have Shadow Word Pain, which Team Liquid can't assume that. They said they don't want to play Ancient War because it plays really far into Shadow Word Death. But let's go ahead and listen into Tempo Storm to see how they're going to gain back this tempo.
It's like the premium pain target. Wait, that's actually really not bad. Or is it? Pain Corruptor? And then go face, not trade.
Yeah, I don't think you trade in that case, right?
Yeah, I like the play though.
Sure. Yeah, okay.
War just doesn't do anything, right? We would not push 5 damage.
And they've had every freaking Jade mechanic.
I think they really want this one turn. And with this, we really don't give them.
But if we rip a swipe, we can just clear the board and then play the idol. I think drawing and then just seeing what happens is better.
Yeah, we need swipe.
All right, so let's draw and see what happens.
Mm-hmm. No
We
swipe.
didn't hit swipe. Really awkward.
So we wild growth and don't draw, and then we play idol for 6/6.
We don't play. Wait. We don't play wild growth. We're at 9 mana.
Yeah, we don't play the white group.
You want to hero power?
What we can't. What we're at 9 mana. Why would we wild growth?
Oh. Never mind.
So I don't think we face tank though.
No,
I don't
we
think
don't
so
have
either.
anything.
We just play idle, go face, right?
Yeah, just play idol.
Idle, trade, go face.
Go for it, good pace.
I think this is really good for us, right? Because no mulch.
We drop freaking Bran. That'd be insane.
We could have lost our board here. Yeah, so war face, right?
Yeah. At this point, I think we play the Twilight Whelp too, right?
Yeah, I think we play Whelp and the Drake just sits in the hand, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Drake will be our dragon activator. And we really want to pressure him from this point. We can't outvalue him anymore. We
draw Bronzebeard. We can go silence on a taunt. Bronzebeard
Yeah,
fate.
we've won, dude. He just plays War and Hero Powers and passes. We win. It's easy.
Maybe he saved the mulch, to be honest.
I don't think
He
so.
has to.
I think he
Yeah.
mulched and played a 6/6, absolutely. So there's no mulch, which means if he wants to get through, he has to swipe, or he plays his own, and the silence of the corruptor wrecks him. So
We have to hope for no auctioneer, because if he goes off here with innovative auctioneer, we will probably lose, right? We'll just go for a.
Well, the swipe was the next card.
Yeah. And everything that they're talking about is in Liquid's hand. They have the choice for the Ancient War Hero Power, which means they're dead. And if they go for the swipe clear, then followed by Auctioneer, that's kind of exactly what Temple Storm is afraid of.
Nourish picked up. This is a clunky hand.
Yeah, I think they were trying to fish for something else on top of that. Maybe Living Roots, if they had a second copy in their deck, because they used one earlier.
Yeah, it's going to be...
No, it's a pretty good draw. Fits perfectly with Blackwing Corruptor this turn.
Yeah. The thing is are they going to respect the Azure Drake is the question.
They already used a swipe that they drew off the top. They would have wanted to use it earlier, and then they also played Living Roots and also a Wrath. So there's less that you have to respect, and you have so much health distributed that it's almost like impossible for the Drake to truly punish you with spell damage, because you have you have 2 5/4s, a 3/6, and a 2/1, and you're putting your opponent down to 7 health. So it feels like Temple Storm has an opportunity to go aggressive here. I definitely don't think leaving up the 6/1 is good. If they want to use a 2/1 to trade into the 6/1 as a way to make sure they don't get like Wrath cycled efficiently, then maybe. But I kind of like playing Twilight Guardian and Blackwing Corrupted this turn. Really push for the tempo and try to end the game.
I like it.
Yeah. So then Team Liquid is back in that seat where, like, do we play Ancient of War and potentially play into Shadow Word Death? I mean, silence is something in the back of their mind too, but Shadow Word Death is the #1 culprit that they're afraid of.
Yeah, well, a swipe here would be a full clear, and they have 2 draws to be able to find that second swipe if they want to go for that. They could cycle Wrath for 2 onto one of these 4 health minions. And then...
yeah, I guess so.
Just going to go ahead and try and dig with the Nourish. Let's see.
Mulch and Wrath and swipe.
Whoa, but now they can't use all of them. So if they had gone with Wrath Wildcard, they actually would have found it. But then they would have been in a worse situation moving forward, because they wouldn't have had the Wild Growth cycle for the Gadgeon Auctioneer.
Well, what they can do is they can Wrath one thing and Mulch another and have the Azure Drake trade. So then it just leaves a 2/1.
Yeah.
And their opponent's down to 2 cards. So that's... Oh, no, but the mulch gives them another minion, so it's like not exactly like they're out of cards.
They mulched the Twilight Guardian, Wrath one of the 5/4s, and trade one of the 5/4s. There's only a 2/1 left on board.
Right.
Yeah, this could be a stabilization point. Oh, no!
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Oh, no!
I was saying mulch doesn't exactly mean that they're out of gas.
Disaster!
Let's listen into Tempo Storm.
No, we just played the Archfief. Go.
Wait. Just think. Wait.
We're part of artifacts.
Never test.
Mommy's right.
Yes. Or
Press 10+10 would be guaranteed leave, and then just.
What if he has second mulch? What if he has second mulch? Then we lose on the spot.
Yeah, I
think Mummies is
fine.
safe.
He can't develop enough to the point where we can't just play the Mummies, right? Let's do it.
Are you sure?
Okay, yeah, because we push 2 damage into
it's never
Yeah, we have the lethal.
Yeah.
If he doesn't have much,
we have lethal anyway. So if he has the mulch, we lose by going with the +10/+10. If he doesn't have the mulch, we just win with the silence. We just win with the silence through the taunt, and then just hit
I've been
7
waiting
days.
for Kitchenware to make a comeback.
But they could go Pharaoh.
I guess.
Yeah, let's pull off a miracle or something. I don't know.
I got the best deals anywhere.
We have nothing to develop. Go with Idol. Spell.
Yeah. What about the minion?
We need the Naturalizer Mulch, right? We can Savage you with Feral Rage. That doesn't help though.
I mean, we fell rage for the HP now.
We go with
Would it
Starfall
be-
because we can go with if they pick the mummies, we can go with AoE and swipe.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, Starfall. Yeah,
Okay.
Starfall.
And then we just play Feral Rage for armor and we Wild Grip, right? Or, no, we Hero Power.
Oh, we
What do
hero
we do?
power.
Hero Power or Wild Grip?
Yeah,
Oh, we
here,
do both.
here.
Oh wait, we don't. We don't because. What do we do?
Innervate anyway.
Wild Growth once only. I mean, yeah, it's fine.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, we have Drake Starfall as well. I don't think we should use the Innervate there actually.
Please, mommies.
They would pick the other one, right? I think the other one's just better.
Damn, son.
Ooh.
Trade mummies, right? Just win.
Yeah, Mummies is better for sure.
Yeah, Mummies is just way more stats.
Question is, do we have to trade? How many spells does he have left?
Yeah, it's just auctioneer, dude. Just
He can't. He can't.
Alright,
even
yeah,
play-
just because, he can go off the idols.
No, he doesn't have idols anymore. But the thing is,
We can Drake.
No, we can't Phantom. No, we can't Drake. We have to swipe and play Starfall, right?
Yeah.
Do we ever
Maybe
play the
can
idol or
idol
do we want
first.
Phantom value?
I think we want Funral value, right?
Yeah, I guess we have to.
Okay, so Starfall for AoE and then swipe, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Behemoth Swipe, we
But
win.
if he mulches and we never have this +10/+10, we
you
just
need the
lose.
cojones. The cojones.
Does this mean that the Druid deck only runs 1 mulch? Because they only have 3 or 4 cards left, right? So there's a chance that.
Dude, they were digging for something. Do you think they were digging just for the idol?
No!
Oh my god.
And they have to swipe? No way.
I mean, obviously, yeah, that's fine.
Dude, +10/+10 must win. But anyways, we played the 9/9 here,
Yeah, the 9/9 and the other thing.
and obviously
Whoa,
the
wrong
top.
ordering. Twilight
What do you
Drake.
mean?
Yeah.
Wait,
So we're gonna
what-
go Drake for sure
order.
then? Okay.
But we lose our. Wait, we lose our. How many drakes do we have? We play both Corruptors. We have one.
We have
Twilight
another
Guardian.
Twilight Guardian.
He's at
Yeah.
12. He goes to 13.
We have-
Let's just
We
set
have
up
2
the
Nether
lethal.
Spites.
Yeah,
But
Drake
you have 2
and
Nether
Crusher.
Spites.
This doesn't
Historians.
matter. Let's just set up the lethal.
Oh my god.
We need
Alright.
mulch.
We don't need mulch. We go with Behemoth, Idol, or Blossom, right? I guess we can play the Idol, right? And hope we get the mulch. And if we don't get the mulch, then we go with because we have the same mana anyways, right?
Yeah.
So we'll go with Idol. We don't care about the Fandral value.
Yeah, we don't care about that.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
If we
why
get mulch, what do we
get
even
board
play
with-
though? We don't have enough, right?
We mulch plus Jade Behemoth, right?
Yes.
Oh yeah, that's pretty good. Okay. Healing touch.
Yeah, hidden touch.
I
The
don't
heal?
play it. No, we play Blossom, right?
We
have
don't
to-
against.
We have to
We
get
used the
bored.
pain already.
We have to get bored.
Yeah, we don't die to Holy Nova, do we? No. So it's fine.
We just have to get bored.
Way closer than I would like.
Easiest game of my
They
life.
set it up though, so it's good. So
Next time we need more cojones. We need more cojones.
more balls to take the 10 plus.
Honestly, that I went for the staff pot to deal with the mummies is pretty damn good.
Guys, I'll be right back.
The Starfather.
Ah, mummies!
I need to make that a sub sound or something on the stream.
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
That was from Saiyan, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, jeez. You don't usually, I don't even know what that note, what, I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah, great, yeah.
But, you know, that was closer. VOPS said at the end, that was much closer than they would have liked in that matchup. There was a brief moment where I was like, wow, Liquid has this. But couldn't find the mulch. The 9-9 Draconid Crusher was able to help them secure that victory. And a big victory at that. They took the win with the Dragon Priest. Now they're probably going to have to go up against the Arena Warlock from Team Liquid, as we've seen is the normal counter to that Dragon Priest.
Yep. That's and if it holds serve, then Team Tempo Storm will have to strike back and figure out a way to counter the Arena Warlock and so on and so forth, which will move forward. I do want to point out that Team Liquid definitely made some really nice moves with the Raven Idol, saying like, you know, if they do have the zombies, let's take the Starfall and count for it with the swipes. That way we don't get blown out by that. The only thing is that I think they read that the silence was a Shadow Word Death.
Yes.
They kept holding on to Ancient of War and just chose not to play it at all because they knew that Shadow Word Death could blow them out, and they had so many opportunities to drop it to be safe. We know that silence would allow Tempo Storm to win, but you know, that was one of those interesting dynamics where they kind of had the right idea, not exactly the right point though, because the Jade Behemoth, they said, was safe against the Shadow Word Death because the Shadow Word Death would target one of the Jades instead, which is why they played Jade Blossom instead of Healing Touch, because they felt like if they did have Shadow Word Death, then they would lose everything on the board plus the Jade Behemoth and be back to square one. So that's the kind of logic back and forth of what happened there.
Yeah, I do not disagree with the Jade Blossom at all. I like the reasoning behind it. You have to take that risk. Dog understands, you know, how to play. I want to say ramp style druids. I guess you can say Jade is a ramp style druid just because you're ramping double effects, and I like his mentality there going into it. We're waiting on Team Liquid to select a deck. As we wait for game number 4 here, but man, it's been I've been really enjoying myself today, Dan. It's been a fun day of Trinity Series. I'm sad that next week is the last week, but I'm also really excited to see which teams are going to the playoffs.
Yeah, you know, enough of the foreplay, if you will. We got to cut to the chase with the playoffs to determine who's going to be the one claim themselves as Season 1 champions, and anybody can do it. Remember, the winner of this series is going to put themselves in playoff contention, very much so. Tempo Storm, if they win, they still have a little bit of a hill to climb, but it's much easier compared to if they drop it. Same with Team Liquid. If they win this series, they're tied for first place, along with Complexity.
Yes, they are. All right, as we expected, it's Reno Lock versus the Priest, a matchup that we've seen, I believe, every week at least once on Trinity Series. Every time Dragon Priest is queued up to counter either Druid or Reno Mage, then the Warlock comes out next. It's the circle of life, the food chain.
The food chain. Yeah, that's right. We work in pyramids these days. TJ, chain is so 20th century.
The food pyramid. The food pyramid.
Yeah, the food pyramid.
I'm going to blindly trust you on this one.
Yeah.
Dragon
it's
Priest,
more healthy and balanced.
Yeah, Dragon Priest is the protein, and Reno Warlock is the wheat.
I have no idea why you're going with that, but I'm just going to trust that you know more things about food than I do, TJ.
Yeah, I would hope so, judging by our statures.
Hashtag dad bod.
I know more about food than most people.
Well, Joe got a haircut, man. Good for him.
Yeah. It's looking spiffy. He's also in a new place. But let's go and listen into Tempo Storm and see how they're planning on tackling a tough matchup in Arena Warlock.
So
Yeah, they're actually probably scared of the silence now too for the Twilight Drake.
they're playing combo Reno Lock with Sylvanas and Mistress.
We didn't have to show the rag either, so we didn't show them the rag. Maybe they don't play around it later on. Maybe they think we cut the rag for the silence. I don't know. So if they go Dooms, all right. So we definitely, I think we Shadow Repain that.
Yeah, let's
Nice.
shield.
Shield the 2/3, right?
The 2/6 is better against his 4-drop, so I would shield the 2/6.
Yeah, it is better against Drake.
Yeah. It's kind of important. Oh, well, no.
We just wonder.
Fine.
Yeah, it's better.
Better than other
Pain.
targets, man.
Just wonder.
Yeah, so yes, Vendor, yeah.
A lot of damage on us. Keep smacking us in the face. It's scary.
I mean, it's the best opening: 1 2-drop, 2-drop, and 3-drop, and then you just smack all the face.
Yeah.
What other Shadow Repain targets are there? I guess the Doomsayer. But if we have the 5/4 on the board,
I think this is okay, right?
The thing is, we don't really get so much tempo from the mana, right? The mana advantage, because we flood 2 mana as well. It's not such a good pain.
that's why I'm thinking coin Doom or coin Blackwing Corruptor.
We could just also play the Twilight Guardian. We don't have to coin.
Yeah.
Guardian plays into Hellfire a lot. And we're just left with a 2/3.
What do you think about
it's
coin
okay.
Corruptor?
Yeah, Coin Corruptor and trade in the 2/3 Whelp, right?
I think it's better.
Yeah.
No AoE deals with the 5/4 and a 2/6.
Why would you not want to save the Whelp? Because yeah, Hellfire, I guess.
Still
Hellfire,
Hellfire.
coil. Hellfire, coil.
Nice read, or should I
Nice.
say, nice.
Nice to read.
It seems to be, for people who are tuning in, not really understanding the references, Tempo Storm had a little bit of communication problems in the very beginning stages of the Trinity series. Just felt like they were arguing a lot more as opposed to discussing.
Yes.
And at one point they said, you know what, if we're going to turn this around, we have to be very positive. So I think they were ironically using nice and exaggerating it. Yeah, the joke is, of course, very Korean style, where they all goes like, nice! And then it started catching on to the point where they actually like saying it, because like any good meme or any good, thing that catches on into the internet these days, if you use it sarcastically enough, it ends up becoming serious, and then it's becoming funny, and it ends up becoming your everyday jargon.
Yes.
You can't suddenly stop saying it's lit, fam.
And then it's not a meme anymore. Then it's part of the language.
That's right. It's become part of you. It's a lifestyle.
Yeah.
Stay woke.
Indeed. Well explained, Frodan.
Thank you.
Very nice. That explanation was lit.
Well memed. All right, well, in all seriousness, Team Liquid picking up pretty decent Kazakus potion there. Trying to see if they can have a lot of options to answer a big board state. Tempo Storm was really carefully playing around Hellfire, and now seems to be in a better position to do so. One thing that they have to also consider, too, is the balance of dragons into their hand. If they play Twilight Guardian, then Draconoid Crusher becomes a little bit more freed, because then you're no longer holding on to a dragon to make sure you have dragon synergies. One of the dangers of dragon decks is that they become imprisoned to its own synergy. If Twilight Guardian is the only dragon you hold, you can never get it out.
Yeah, and they also now not only do they have to play around Hellfire, but they also have to keep in mind the Kazakus potion. So they play Twilight Guardian, then say trade the 5/4 into the 3/3. They still have enough damage on board the following turn to play the Draconid Crusher as a 9/9, and they also make sure that they play around the 4 damage AoE to all. So it actually looks like they're mousing over Shadow Word Pain, which could be coupled with Worm Rest Agent, now that they already have dragons in the hand. But let's go and listen into Team Liquid. Maybe we can get more of an insight into this Kazakus potion.
Die in 2 turns. That's the issue, I guess.
Not
Well, they're not playing around AoE very well. I think Emperor is still better.
Yeah.
Yeah, into twisting.
And I think we bumped into the 2/6.
Do we? We
Think
give
so.
we give a Nova.
We didn't
I don't think we
We
bumped.
didn't see Nova.
I like them trading to us. Then
Okay.
we are not we're not the next turn anyway. What would
We don't always nether, right? We have Hellfire, Demon Wrath for 5 damage AoE.
Nah. It depends. I mean, it's Emperor turn every time anyway.
Yeah, we're
Yeah,
Embering.
but do we bump? Like, we want to encourage
No,
them to trade.
we don't bump ever. We don't ever.
But
Bump.
we encourage them to trade. That's the thing. Like, they might just go face if we play Emperor.
The thing is, if we bump, they can just go face as well.
It's true.
We basically give them a
Yeah,
free
just
trade.
play Emperor. It's fun.
Like we give them more options. This way, if they trade with 3/6, we can actually help by Demon Rest.
Next turn.
So death heal.
Wait, no, I don't
We
think.
play Nether Spite, right? Or do we not?
Do you like that?
This turn? Do we have to play Nether Spite this turn?
I guess we don't have to death.
We could trade.
We just
and
trade
go
the 5 for it,
Crusher.
and he's still in Dracnoid range.
Yeah.
Do you really want to save the death though?
I think pushing damage is fine, so Nether Spite and Death, right?
Yeah, it essentially comes down to the same thing. The Crusher after the Nether Spite, it's better.
Let's pick up that Ysera.
Definitely, because he will have to. Yeah, if he goes Nether Spite, he has to Siphon Soul our Crusher, and then we have an Ysera that sticks on the.
Kind of
board.
told us he didn't get AoE pushed, I would say. So now we force the Reno now, which kind of sucks. The Dracanoid's not going to come down next turn, but maybe he doesn't have Reno. You know, maybe he doesn't even have Reno.
Is there ever a world where... No, we can't. I was going to say we don't have enough damage. I was going to say Hellfire, Demon Wrath, but...
No,
it doesn't.
Yeah, it doesn't work. Yeah, we have to nether.
We might even have to Jiraxis now.
Might have to Jiraxis, yeah.
Well, Team Liquid under some heat.
Yeah, definitely under the gun here. Dragon Priest usually has small windows to pressure, and once they do, though, they come hitting like a truck. You know, they're not exactly the fastest deck, but they got those big bulging muscles.
This is quite unfortunate. They can Jiraxis, but they don't clear anything, so they're taking 7 damage next turn. They're effectively at 8 health.
Right.
And I'm surprised they just didn't go with the Draconid Crusher last turn. I guess they're worried about Siphon Soul. They want something on the board if Siphon Soul should come out.
Yes.
And then they could still play Draconid Crusher after that. So it actually makes sense. But we did get the word that Kazaka's pushing is summon 2 friendly minions that have died and plus 4 health to all minions. So it's sort of this is what we do on an empty board.
Oh, plus 4 health to all minions.
Yeah.
I thought it was DO4 damage.
Yeah, I think they had some opportunities. That's why I was a little bit confused. I was like, well, it seemed like they got all 4 damage to all minions, but there was some great spots to use it, and they didn't. So Jiraxis has to come out.
Time runs out indeed, Jiraxis. Needs to be able to turn it around here.
Oh, they're getting so close.
That is some good damage coming in here. I think you posture up the Dracanoid Crusher. Your opponent clearly couldn't deal with the Dracanoid Operative, and your opponent also didn't have Reno Jackson. Both of those would have been played. And Team Liquid picks up Shadow Bolt, which is only barely a drop in the water in the giant bucket that they need right now to stay alive.
Mm-hmm.
They need a lot more water to put out this fire.
They're going to need something bigger than a bucket.
Oh, I was talking about the water itself. There's a fire going on. And right now this is a drop in the bucket.
What came first, the water or the
usually
bucket?
you collect water and throw it onto the fire because that's how you put out a fire.
Not a grease fire.
Unless you're on fire, in which you stop, drop, and roll. Not a grease fire, yeah. Team Liquid goes for the Dark Peddler, picks up Soulfire or Power Overwhelming at this point.
They can... Sylvanas, Power Overwhelming, and
Corruption.
No time for games.
This steals a 9/9.
Well, they're dead to a single point of damage. Oh, that's just going to clear it off. Okay. So regardless of what they steal, they lose.
Yep.
We know that, but they don't know that. So they're going to hope to steal the 9-9, and they do.
But it's not going to be enough. The Blackwing Corruptor ends it. Double Blackwing Corruptor synergy. Extra BM from Tempo Storm.
Whoa!
Wow. That is excessive force if I've ever seen one. Tempo Storm basically calling out Team Liquid personally. With that 3-1 upset. Dragon Priest over the Reno Warlock. Yet another upset in this matchup today that we've seen, TJ. It just seems like Dragon Priest has Reno Warlock's matchup today.
Yeah, Meal PS is stone cold Reno Lock killer.
Yeah, man.
I mean, I can't think of anything more cruel than a man with 2 beds.
Wait, what? The LPS has 2 beds?
Mm-hmm.
Ah, well, maybe he doesn't sleep alone at night.
One's for evil VLPS and one's for nice VLPS.
I was thinking, maybe he's a good dog owner. Just ends up having him sleep next to him.
That's true. That's true. There could be many reasons, actually.
Yeah.
And now that I think about it. So thanks for pointing out those reasons to me.
Sure.
But now Dragon Priest has a lot better matchups. Reno.
Right. Reno Mage still out there. Well, hypothetically, a mage of any kind of sort, but we're guessing that it's Reno Mage. Team Liquid could be the type of guys that also bring a Freeze Mage as well. All 3 of those players have been prolific Freeze Mage players in their own times. We already saw that J-Druid has been eliminated too. And so you have to think about what's really remaining here for Team Liquid beyond just what they have at the moment.
Yeah. All right. Well, we are going to go to a little bit of a break. And when we come back, it's going to be a game number 5 between Tempo Storm and Team Liquid. We're going to see if they can make a comeback. But in the meantime, Dan and I, we're going to build a deck. Turns out building your own deck is really hard.
Yeah. Turns out they were right. It's kind of impossible these days to have a homebrewed deck, man.
It really is. It's just easier to copy everybody else's. Oh, well. But it's time to get back. It's time to get back. It took 6 weeks of Trinity Series to break me.
All right.
6 weeks. I'm done.
All right. Well,
have fun.
As TJ tries to keep it together. Let's go into what should be game number 5 of Team Liquid up against Tempo Storm. Someone's got to keep it together. Dragon Priest is now going up against Rogue, and Rogue has historically done pretty well against Priest. And I don't really think of any other better deck to do it against Priest right now remaining from Team Liquid there. Rogue's a deck that's been also banned from Priest. Oh, sorry, from many lineups. And now that it's going up against Priest, I expect it to do pretty well.
Yeah.
Welcome back, DJ.
Thanks. Just needed a moment there as I contemplated my existence on this green earth. But yeah, back into the series. One team that's really good at building their own decks, Tempo Storm. Should ask them for help, I guess. Wow, Nefarian. Well, it's not the Reno Warlock matchup. Not as cool anymore. Probably Twilight Drake. Just getting that tempo is going to be a little better.
Yeah, you don't really have the ability to get away with playing Nefarian that late into the game. Very often, the game's been decided by that point.
Yeah. All right. So another Spy Historian, but this is not the early tempo that Tempo Storm would have wanted. Team Liquid still has the coin. They already have Gadgets and Auctioneer. They have Prep. I mean, they have pretty much everything they'd want to be able to win this game already in their starting hand. But let's go and listen in now to Team Liquid to see how they want to plan things out.
We play it, right? When the questing.
Yeah. They can't deal with it, right? And it will kill the 3/6 next turn.
It's only silence.
Yeah, just do it.
Give me a quest.
We trade into the 2/3.
Yeah.
It's a bit
It's not bad.
It's not that bad. We don't face tank. Actually,
I think we do.
I like
right?
face tanking it. Yeah, face tank it.
He doesn't play around cleric.
If they cleric, we're happy. No, we're not. We're sad if they cleric, but it doesn't matter if he plays around cleric because they're gonna bump anyways, right?
It's so we lose 1 charge for now.
Lose 1 charge. Is that relevant enough?
I like healing it, for sure.
I like hitting it.
Okay. I mean, it's just like it's good because if they trade, we can dagger it again and they say we won one.
Drake is
We have-
okay. Yeah.
Definitely. I mean, there's no other play.
Yeah. Then they don't develop.
Right? Pleasure preps up. We agree?
Yeah, looks good.
Thank you.
Punch the.
Death. It's winnable.
That's not even that great now that he's got the pillager on the board.
Yeah, but it would be winnable.
So we shield the questing and try to kill it. If we draw silence, it's 2/2, and then we can play Drake to contest. If we draw death, we just kill
Do we
it
ever go
and pass.
Drake into Power Word Shield into the silence, or do we silence first to try to get death?
I think death has some chance of us winning, so I think we can do that.
Yeah.
So if there was
If
no
you don't-
chance, then yeah, we have to go Drake. Oh, now it's actually just no chance.
Yeah.
See?
Is
I mean,
Iron
no,
right?
maybe they
Yeah.
play another card. They have to play cards, so it's definitely not concede.
All right, we'll see what they have.
Let's just see what the rogue deck is running. Yeah.
Maybe they drop an ambush here.
So Swashbuckler,
Well, that was a quick game, and that tends to happen sometimes when a questing adventure goes unanswered for a few
Yeah.
turns.
That's something that shouldn't surprise many people by now, but that's going to be a turn 5 kill from Rogue. And this is going to be one of those questions that Tempo Storm hopefully has an answer to. They left up Rogue because they were confident that they could beat it somehow. But this is the deck that has, I think, the most sweep potential in Team Liquid's lineup, and they've saved it for the middle of the series here.
They do have Warrior. They have the Pirate Warrior, which was left up. So they do have tools to be able to beat it. Pirate Warrior versus Rogue is a pretty poor matchup for the Rogue. You know, even if you do manage to get early stuff, it has to be early stuff that wins you the game in a couple turns, like huge Edwin Van Cleave, huge questing adventure, in order for you to have a chance. Because Warrior could just ignore all your stuff and just keep hitting you in the face. You don't have any way to heal unless you get Greater Healing Potion, which isn't going to happen from Swashbuckler. You can get Shield Block, I guess, things like that, but definitely going to be a tough spot. Now, if they can win the Rogue versus Pirate Warrior matchup, which we actually saw happen yesterday, I believe, or last week, then they're in a great spot, because then there's not really many decks that challenge this. Paladin doesn't really challenge it. Hunter doesn't really challenge it that well. And Druid definitely doesn't challenge it. So it's still a possibility for Team Liquid to start running away with this Rogue deck. But got to get to the Warrior first.
Yeah, I think the Warrior is very dominant over Rogue for many reasons. But Rogue, it's not like Rogue can't win. They have an explosive start ability. They can keep Pirates under control with backstabs in the very beginning stages, and then they can utilize their ability to prep stuff out to be able to get some huge stuff going. But a couple of factors are against them. One, they're off the coin, so they have less tools at their disposal. And two, Tempo Storm, if they have sometimes you can do all the things right as Rogue, but if Pirate Warrior has the nuts or even anything close to it, Rogue just gets pulled over immediately, and it doesn't matter what they do.
Yep. A good start for Team Liquid, but small-time Buccaneer is usually not enough by itself, so they're going to need a lot more help.
It's a start.
Yeah.
I mean, at least the worst thing for Team Liquid is they would have nothing to play on turn 1. And they do. In fact, Team Tempo Storm is the one that might be hurting for a turn 1 play. They threw away a lot of their early game, things like upgrade and patches, combo cards, essentially. And it looks like Tempo Storm's the one who's going to be struggling to get back on board.
Yeah. They even pick up a Tomb Pillager, which means that they'll have a play going into turn 3, potentially. That could put them a lot of power on the board, replace the coin in the hand, and maybe make for some crazy questing / Van Cleef plays early on that we talked about, which is one of the the only ways that Rogue can win this matchup.
This is a pretty good hand from Team Liquid. They have an ability to coin out the Tomb Pillager on turn 3, or counterfeit coin, excuse me. That's not part of the real coin that they get for going second. And Tempo Storm doesn't really have much. If they coin out this Bloodsail Raider, they're going to hope that they have a turn 2 play, because most likely it's just going to trade. Oh, this is creative. Look at this.
I like this a lot. They know that turn 2 is almost always going to be dagger up from the Rogue, which means that they'll have a free turn to play Bloodsail Raider should they not pick up a better 2-drop.
Wow.
And trade their patches into the patches on the opposing side of the board. So
that was really heads up. I like that a lot.
Yeah, great play by Tempo Storm. Let's go and listen in now as they plan their next couple turns.
So Bloodsail Raider for sure. If this one, if we draw now something decent, we might snowball with the upgrade. We'll see. Oh, that was an easy play.
Thank you.
Good Rogue hand.
4x is good here.
A really good Rogue hand. Do we just play the Bloodsail? Yeah, I think so too.
For sure.
Oh, man.
Ooh.
No, we do it anyway.
We do what?
We trade the 5/4 into 2/2. Swashbuckler, at least.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah,
I think that's the best play.
We say that for Van Cleef, right?
This is still better, right?
Yeah.
We don't really want to face them.
Yeah.
We save the dagger, right? Still.
Yeah, we're playing Van Cleef next turn almost for certain. That we're playing a 5-drop.
So we're going Finley, right? And then upgrade. And
Finley into upgrade.
Yeah.
Then we have the Corsair on 4 on the follow-up.
Yeah, we're gonna pick up Dagger and then
Dagger into upgrade.
Yeah.
Seems good.
It's a little more damage that we take overall, but looks okay. Should be fine.
Yeah, we just didn't draw a weapon.
Yeah, we should have thrown the Bloodsail for sure.
No.
Oh, probably just
Just play
Drake.
Drake.
Drake, yeah.
Is much-
Next time we make biggest Van Cleef.
No, we just go Pillager, Coin, Van Cleef, probably.
No, we coin 2-drop on Cleave.
We'll
Yeah,
see.
I think so too.
We'll see what they play.
So we can
We go
actually
face, right?
punch.
We don't punch, right?
But we're gonna heroic strike. I guess.
We don't punch.
Not yet.
But like
punch
we
next turn.
set up a 2-turn kill. I guess we do it anyway. Yeah. Well, we might
Because
miss one
we
damage.
can't redagger afterwards. No, we can for one.
Team Liquid piecing together some tools here. Looks
Yeah.
like next turn's going to be an 8/8 Van Cleef.
So very good opening that Team Liquid was able to muster up, and Tempo Storm just victim of the pirate draws that doesn't have the weapons. It feels like such a liability that you have all these pirates and no weapons to really pull them together. Because then the pirates themselves on board are actually kind of weak. And then they don't have ability to synergize with each other like South Sea Captain's useless. You'd much rather have, raw, good stats like anything that's a 3-4 or higher, or even the Argent Horse Rider, which helps you get Divine Shield out onto the board. Are they just going to trade?
Wow, a trade at this stage would be pretty bold. And Team Liquid, that sort of ruins their plan, but it keeps in line the Tomb Pillager coin Edwin, which is the play that Dog had suggested. They were, waiting to see what they played. But now with an empty board, developing a 5/4 Tomb Pillager and a 6/6 Van Cleef, whew, that's pretty good. Yeah, they probably fit in a prep Heroic Strike in there too.
Yeah, if you put a Van Cleef to a 10-10, it almost feels impossible for your opponent to be able to deal with it. So let's go ahead and listen to Team Liquid and how they are debating this turn.
Thank you.
And then we have Sap for taunt.
Awesome Pirate Warrior. The 3/3.
Damn. We set up lethal as well.
That Van Cleef's pretty big.
Better kill it.
The Brotherhood shall prevail.
Pretty good.
We would beat the nuts if we had like an average draw. But yeah, he has the nuts and we just draw bad. What can you do? Happens.
I just wrote about this turn. I think we just need to think of our next games and get rid of the salt.
Yeah, what are we giving to this?
I mean, I know what we came to this.
What now?
Actually,
It's got to be Paladin.
yeah, but Paladin is also our priest counter.
Nothing else beats the stack though.
Yeah. Probably have to do it and sweep with Paladin. But then they go Mage, then we go Druid. Our Druid has to beat their Priest. I mean, yeah. It came down to this and we had to... it happens, it's percentages.
Pretty rough game for Tempo Storm, but, their mentality just saying, so we need to just, rope out this last turn, just stop thinking about this game and try and move on to the next one.
It's Thursday, TJ, which means we're destined to go the distance.
Distance.
We're not off easily. Nope. Yesterday ended way too fast, 6-0, from Cloud9 over Alliance. Felt like we needed to really make this day dramatic and long. So
yep.
It's only appropriate. It's tied 3-3 halfway, and all of a sudden, the best of 11 has turned to a best of 5.
Yeah, now it's up to Tempo Storm to find a deck now. They were really thinking about it. Garcetti knows which deck to queue. They have the Priest, the Mage, and the Rogue left for Team Liquid. Rogue's going to be their next one. And then looking at the side of Tempo Storm, they have Hunter, Paladin, and Druid. So, not the best. Paladin usually pretty weak to the Rogue, but they do have ways to, defend against the nuts. They have a quality Consecration, quality Pyromancer to deal with Van Cleaves, Questing Adventurers, stealth things in general. Druid and Hunter are pretty weak, though.
Yeah. Well, the funny thing about saying, it always feels like you lose to the nuts, but in general, Rogue does tend to have these hands which are incredibly explosive, which feels like the nuts every single time.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, Rogue being able to put out a big Van Cleef and race their opponent, but both those games from Rogue ended essentially by turn 5.
Yeah.
Or turn 6-ish. The 6 was the one where he got the big Van Cleef out. But it felt like when they hit Pillager into the Van Cleef with all these small little spells to combine into it, that's what you really need to win the game. You don't even need to necessarily go second and get on the coin.
Yeah, let's go ahead and take a look for a moment at some statistics that we've compiled here. the top class wins for each of these teams. Both these teams seem to have pretty even wins across the board, with an average of 5 since there's been 5 weeks. Pretty standard. So Druid has been Team Liquid's, no surprise there, and Tempo Storm still Hunter in their top 3.
Yeah, you know, Hunter, well, it seems to be much more of a well-rounded, diversified lineup that comes for Tempo Storm a lot more than other teams because they're less dependent on spiking on a certain class. But at the same time, it is kind of weird that Hunter is one of the most represented classes for their wins. It doesn't feel right in a way. It just feels like, well, why are they kind of depending on Hunter to get their wins in the format where Hunter is often considered the weakest class or the second weakest class? But Tempo Storm doesn't feel that way. Gar was saying that he feels like Hunter is one of the better classes, which is pretty interesting to me in my opinion. And yet, at the same time, they're talking about not queuing it into Rogue. They really need something else to kill the Rogue here.
Yeah, in Trinity, you take away 3 classes, essentially. Two from your opponents. If you take away those aggressive classes, Hunter all of a sudden, their average win rate is pretty good. One of the main things that beats Hunter is just early board pressure because they don't have comeback mechanics. They can't run like, Knife Juggle on Lucid Hounds and hope that that's going to carry them to the game because that comes turn 5. That's about the time that Warrior's killing you. Or that Shaman has a board that's not going to be able to do that. So the lack of comeback mechanics combined with, a late game focus on a lot of their cards and, like a death rattle focus on a lot of their cards means that they can't get enough immediate impact from their cards, which means that they are more suited to the control style matchups, which Trinity Series tends to have a lot of. So we'll see. Probably going to be Paladin. Oh, no, it's Druid. Okay. Druid it is.
All right, well, Druid up against Rogue. Wow, that opening Rogue hand is already looking pretty good. Not necessarily because of Shiv and Questing Adventure, although that's certainly nice. It's because of Double Tomb Pillager. That's really what you want to see here. Tempo Storm, they have Innervate, and they're going to queue up Druid, which is already interesting to say the least. I think Druid is pretty weak to the Rogue because you only have so much removal that you can afford to use against them before they start piling up the damage. If Questing Adventure and Van Cleaves and 2 Pillagers all pile on you, you're going to be in trouble.
If they have double mulch, then they might be able to stabilize long enough, but only time will tell. Innervate Jade Spirit Swipe is the hand after the mulligans. Innervate is the only keep. So no ramp so far, but Innervate can act as sort of ramp, can get that Azure Drake out early. Which can be pretty threatening. But once again, 3rd game in a row, Team Liquid finds the small-time Buccaneer turn 1. Great start for them.
Yeah, I mean, they're kind of laughing because of how everything's been very fortuitous for them, but it's not really a joke on Tempo Storm's end. They, to them, they see like, man, they get the one card on turn 1 that really puts a lot of pressure on us. And now all of a sudden their use of Innervate feels a little bit silly to have to use it early on to relieve board pressure. They might just have to take it slow and let the damage pile in here.
Innervate probably can't be used. If they Innervate Jade Spirit now, then they have no turn 3 play. Nothing. It's Hero Power as their turn 3 play. And Jade Spirit just gets traded into on the board. So yeah, Hero Power it is. And that's...
It goes to show you how the small-time Buccaneer change makes a big difference. If it dies here just as a 1/1,
that sucker would be dead.
Yes, and as a result, it just feels like it's much of a weaker strategy here.
Put down your stupid little lantern. Small-time Buccaneer. Get that out of here.
Yeah. Makes a huge difference. So let's go ahead and listen into Tempo Storm and see what they're plotting, because they took a little bit of an interesting route here of attacking the small-time Buccaneer.
Yeah.
Next one, we go Spirit into War. Hope there's no sap, I guess.
Give me a quest.
Gives us a lot of
I'm
time.
getting better.
We're not attacking this turn. We might attack next turn, but
No, not even next turn.
Yeah, looks like it, right?
Yep.
I guess next turn we could get 2 Jade mechanics out.
Yeah, one sec. I'm lagging a little bit, so I'm just gonna give it a few seconds.
All right.
Okay.
and they're done.
Thank you.
We can Golbat even next turn. Like, feel like
It depends what they play, though. Maybe they only have, like, Nourish in hand.
I mean, how wish they Nourish here?
Just gotta play Drake, right?
Jade's here.
Yeah, you have to.
Yeah.
I can't. I mean, I could possibly play just Mulch and prevent Cold Blood, but it's like. It's probably too much.
Yeah, that's a pretty rough hand for Temple Storm. You can see just saying visibly shaken up by this turn of events. They're already at 11 health.
Yeah, this
the board is getting dealt with.
Complaints that I think some of the other Rogue players had. They said that it felt like Pirates has simplified a lot of the Roguish strategy to just doing this. Not necessarily making them as deviant as they used to be. You know, Rogue used to be more of a class that relied on like trickery and like trying to do like all these fun stuff, but now it's very brute force. It's pretty much just in your face, keep stacking stats and damage. Everything is just kind of overstated at a certain point, right? Like at a certain point, Van Cleef crosses the thresholds of stats. At a certain point, Questing Adventure, same thing with the Pirates. And then you use things like Tomb Pillager to not only press damage, but also to collect coins for you to inevitably burst your opponent down. Speaking of heavy stats, things like Scarum Cultist.
That's...
It might not even be necessary, because that Gadsden Auctioneer could also search for potential game-ending damage as well.
Yeah, I mean, well, this is kind of nice because they just get a nice turn 6 play to just slam on curve, put them down to 6, and now Ancient of War, I don't think they'll even stop them. Temple Storm going to dig with Raven Idol here, playing the Wild Growth last turn, allowed them to have 8 mana. Another Mulch.
Yeah. That is nice. It helps them stall, but
doesn't save them really. It'll help them maybe stabilize the board next turn. But let's go now and listen into Team Liquid as we get closer to the end of this game.
How do you feel about questing Fan Shiv, trade in the 7/7 and then go face
for 5?
Yeah, I like that.
That's really good.
So we Shiv first.
Yes, because we can draw lethal with the Viscerate. It doesn't matter, but yeah. Yeah, Shiv the... Yeah.
Wait. Does any draw impact? Yeah, prep.
Oh, prep, yeah.
And also backstab. Yeah, we didn't get it. Never lucky.
Yeah, with our double small-time Buccaneer into double Pillager. Into
Hero power is the only way.
Yep. Great. Let's find it.
Wow, another brutal loss for Tempo Storm, as you know their chances of winning this match are getting slimmer and slimmer the longer this rogue stays up. The more decks that they keep throwing into this rogue to be eliminated. You got to feel for him. It feels like Team Liquid's just getting the better of them with these early game draws.
I mean, yes and no. I mean, you can see why Rogue is a high priority ban, because it got 3 wins where Tempo Storm worked really hard to get into a 3-1 advantage. They started outthinking their opponents in terms of, okay, they start on Paladin, let's queue up a matchup that's really good for us. Let's specifically like map it out, because what are they going to queue directly into it? And they got exactly what they wanted, except that they just left Rogue open. They really underestimated it. Now, to be fair, they did queue up a very favorable matchup. Pirate Warrior versus Rogue is very one-sided for Pirate Warrior on average. But you have to account for that possibility. You know, and what happens if it gets past one Pirate Warrior? This is not the first time that's even happened in Trinity Series, where Rogue is being able to upset the Pirate Warrior. You can't just go in assuming that it's done deal. You have to account for the possibility that it doesn't. And now, Temple Storm has to rely on Gara and his unique choice of Hunter to see if they can take down the Rogue. I mean, maybe they have something else planned. They chose Paladin over Warlock? Is that correct? They chose to self-ban the Warlock?
Yes.
Wow. Now that is interesting.
That is very interesting. What does Warlock counter? Dragon Priest?
Well, Dragon Priest, Reno Warlock's also really good against Shaman, so I guess it feels like if you're going to ban Shaman, there's not as much need for it, as well as good against all kinds of warriors. Reno Warlock's also pretty decent, just like competitively against a lot of the other control classes. So it just feels, kind of weird not having it because it's such a dynamic deck that can beat anything too. I guess the best way to describe it is that people used to say Druid was like a 45% against the field, and therefore it never had any truly bad matchups. It always had a competitive chance to win, and that left you a lot of room to outplay your opponent, so to speak. Because if your baseline percentage is like 45 to 47, then you can do all you can. If you're a good player, you up it to get slightly more advantage, because other people will not be able to pilot to that same percentage, and they're always going to be unfavored.
Yeah, well, Rogue's been a deck that hasn't been left up much. But let's go and take a look at the Rogue statistics. And Cloud9 is the team with the most Rogue wins thus far in the Trinity Series. But Team Liquid with their 3 wins today have almost matched that total. Cloud9, of course, you look at these and think, oh wow, the other teams must be bad at Rogue. It's not the case. Usually Rogue is banned against a lot of these teams, and you can see why it is banned, because in the very few matches that it's left up for play, the teams are able to take multiple wins with it a lot of the time. Like Cloud9, Temple Storm, and Team Liquid have all been able to do in the past. So Rogue continues to be a driving force, and in a control-oriented meta, Rogue can just steal wins, it feels like.
Yeah, you can definitely see what ends up happening as a trend there. Like all of those statistics where the Rogue has high win counts is because they've been allowed to go on runs. We mentioned Cloud9's 6-0 over Alliance. You look at Team Liquid currently with 3 wins in a row with potential for more. I mean, I'm looking at the rest of the decks here from Temple Storm, and I don't think they're going to stop Rogue. I think Rogue's going to be further on a roll. Now, granted, Rogue is also still one of those classes that can beat itself in the sense that it can draw really dead with having nonstop spells that reduce other spells, like prep, backstab, coin, prep, backstab. It has essentially nothing, no substance. But it's a lot rarer now because they have the pirate package, and because they naturally have attuned to that to make sure they're more aggressive and making sure that they can consistently put out some pressure. So it just feels like Rogue in general is not slowing down, and there's no signs to show that Temple Storm has an answer for it.
Yeah, Temple Storm taking their time now to decide what their last deck is. They really have to plan out their matchups. Both these matchups are probably poor, but they want to throw out one that they need less as the matchup progresses to try and make sure that, as they get towards Game 9, Game 10, Game 11, they'll be in a better spot as opposed to just taking the best matchup now but putting themselves in a weird spot if that deck were to get countered and then they have poor matchups for the remainder of the match. So I definitely like that they're taking their time. Also, it's just been a couple rough losses. They need to take a step back, go run a lap around their apartment,
Sure.
Go jump, have VOPS go jump on both of his beds, and then come back refreshed and ready to play some Hearthstone and win some Hearthstone.
Yeah, I think cooling down has a lot of importance in matches like this. It's really easy to just feel like, wow, I can't believe Rogue just, drew the best cards against me, and all our strategy was completely crumbled because they ran hot. That's just how the card games work. If you can't really accept that, then don't play. I highly recommend you don't sit down and grind a bunch of games out, because you have to be able to remove that emotional aspect of it, and that's what usually separates a lot of the top players. People who are able to separate their emotional attachment to the games and just understand that it's just part of the numbers. There's going to be times where you run hot, there's going to be times that you run cold, and there's going to be times where you have average luck. And it's all about making sure that you're just as consistent from the beginning to the end. And Temple Storm's a little bit more susceptible, I think, to the salt than a few other teams. It feels like,
Naturally.
I think it's more of a top-down trickle approach. It starts at Reynan, and it goes all the way down to even poor little Eloise. They all get salty from time to time, but it's all about how you're able to bounce back from it.
Yeah, well said, Ferdinand. And the team's still getting ready. In the meantime, though, we get to talk about a little bit more about what possible Hunter decks I think we bring in the past couple weeks. We've seen N'Zoth Hunter as the hunter of choice for most teams that have decided to bring Hunter, because it basically has that almost guaranteed win condition later on in the game as long as you don't lose by turn 10 and are in a really reasonable position. It sort of just has that, well, I'm gonna play this and I'm gonna have a high main and 2 kindly grandmothers and a rat pack, and you're dead, bud. But maybe they have something else up their sleeve. Maybe they found a more aggressive hunter. Maybe they...
I still kind of doubt it because I think aggressive hunter builds in general suffer from getting outclassed too much by just everything that's in the current metagame. So if you look at other pirates, for example, anything that hunter puts out will get blown away by early game pirates and weapon combinations. So any kind of J-Claws, any kind of Nazas First Mate with upgrade, any kind of Rogue Dagger plus backstab. So they're outclassed in the aggro matchups. And then in the control matchups, anything that Reno Lock, Reno Mage, even Dragon Priest have as early game bully them too much because there's too much control over it. It's 1 Potion of Madness or 1 Worm Rest Agent from Priest. If you look at Reno Mage, you just have Volcanic Potion. You no longer have like that real stickiness that you need anymore. Reno Warlock has had so many more tools come into it. Just 1 Mistress of Mixtures is enough to mess things up. So it just feels like Hunter just doesn't have enough early game consistency to get onto the board and supplant themselves enough to leverage their hero power. Otherwise, yes, their hero power is good, but they're often 5 to 10 damage short now, and that used to not be the case.
Yeah, they used to be able to get off to a much better start, which allowed them to piece together those extra points of damage. But it is going to be Paladin. They're not going to risk the Hunter just yet. They've decided on Paladin. And Team Liquid on the coin, so already a pretty good start for them. But Tempo Storm has equality, which can be a catalyst in a victory for the Paladin deck. If Team Liquid overextends on the board, it doesn't respect the equality clear early in the game, that can definitely cause a blowout.
Yeah, Paladin is a class that excels a lot on baiting opponents and kind of scaring them into what they potentially could have. One of the most removal heavy classes when they play control styles with mass board pyro equality or equality consecration, and they also have good single target removal through either weapons or Aldor Peacekeeper. It's changed a little bit over time. They no longer play things like Keeper of Oldemon, which used to be one of the premium removal cards at 4 mana, which since has fallen out of favor. And they also have, they stopped playing like Humility and Stampede and Kodo. Instead, they're just playing more of those consistent minions that help them get more stuff, like Finja and Barnes.
And Wicker Flame, Burn Bristle.
Yeah, it's also another sturdy card that helps him stay alive.
He's on fire. No small time Buccaneer. I wonder if that'll spell bad things for Team Liquid this game. But aside from that, their hand seems to be pretty good. They can go for the explosive turns with Questings. They have Gadget and Auctioneer to keep those resource engines flowing.
I mean, it's what's really interesting about all the pirate decks these days, and I do say that with an asterisk. I can't wait for the patch that's coming next week. But one thing that is interesting is that if you do draw patches sometime in the mid game, when early game has been even on both sides, it's actually not necessarily the worst thing. Rogue can benefit off of it by having Questing Adventure being buffed, or a combo enabler with patches, or even just using Cold Blood on patches itself, just as 5 damage and then concealing it.
Yeah.
Same thing with Shaman. They have Flame Tongue Totem. Same thing with Pirate Ward. They have South Sea Captain. That all buffs all the patches and gives it more use. So it's not even necessarily as bad as it normally should be. It's just that you're worried about the first couple turns. If you can't really survive the first couple turns and get an advantage, that's when you're like, I wish I drew my Pirates.
Yeah. Well, Tempo Storm picks up the Acolyte of Pain. Pretty good draw, something to play on the board. But let's go and listen in now to Tempo Storm to see how they feel about a couple turns past from Team Liquid.
So you think they're just...
Might Drake backstab.
They can take it very slow against Paladin. It's also...
Give me a quest.
So you think they just go for... Wait, they're not going.
I don't know that I like that too much by them.
I definitely don't clear this.
No, 100% don't.
Only thing is...
Let's go Blue Jill and Hero Power.
I'm not sure if I like wasting the Blue Jaw.
Yeah, if you get a War Leader, it can kill something, right? So
yeah.
Just keep it.
I guess, yeah, okay.
I think keeping it's fine.
Oh, double anything draw, man. It's unbelievable how bad this is. I told you
if you draw some Murlocs, we're fine. If we draw some Murlocs, a Finja or something as well, we're fine.
Depends on how.
They can like choose a bluegill or something.
Yeah, I mean, we could just go in and say we win if they don't have, you know.
What else
I
do they
think
have?
we don't have to risk it, right? Like this hand is the nuts. Next turn.
So just sub fan? Or do we go questing, prep?
What if we just went with questing sap?
No, it's bad.
That was not bad. True silver
True
bluegill.
silver.
All right, what about questing sap backstab? When we save the prep for the auctioneer.
It survives true silver bluegill. It's gonna be a 5/5.
Yeah, and then we can go off with auctioneer. Like I like saving the prep, and if they equality, we can still cycle with auctioneer.
So you mean questing, sap, backstab?
We don't have to backstab, but yeah, questing sap, and then if you want backstab, I don't think we backstab, but
Actually, yeah, we don't. I don't think we backstab.
I think this is really good because we gotta save the prep for the card draw. Like, true silver is okay, I guess, but we'd probably just kill him if he doesn't kill it. You know, we probably do. I don't know.
Nice.
They didn't invest the coin, so they 100% have the option. But I have to clear this.
No, you have to do it. You have to do this.
For sure. So go for the first clear. EQ cog.
It's
Gotta get those out of the way. It's really good for us to
two
get both out.
questions. Yeah.
Both of those are gone. Conceal's gone as well. We need a true silver. If we draw a true silver, we're in a really good spot.
Actually, if it goes all in on one cleave,
Is with true silver most likely.
We'll see.
We use coin first because we can get the one drop. We didn't get patches yet.
Okay. Prep fan. We'll see what we get, but
We get one drop, so we play one drop first. Or do we?
Yeah, I like
we
it.
do.
yeah, we do.
Oh,
Oh, that's
Oh
good.
wow.
do we play Colbert? Or... No, we play fan, right?
Play fan, I think.
Or
It's close. Fan is better than Shiv.
Yeah. Fan is better in this matchup.
Oh wow, there's so much damage.
Is that lethal next time? It's 12, 15.
Do we backstab to
Six.
cycle ever? No, we don't, right? We have enough.
Yeah, we have Shiv as well.
I think we're fine. Okay.
So just hit face.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
probably.
I just noticed that Temperstorm plays Azure Drake, which is pretty interesting. Wow.
Whoa!
That was a big draw.
Yeah, that's probably the best draw on their deck. That's even better than True Silver. Because it's cheaper, they're left with a minion on the board. Not bad, not bad. Yeah, to play Azure Drake, probably the Curator.
Look at this damage coming in from Team Liquid. They have 16 from the hand.
Holy moly.
They have a Blessing of Might, Cold Blood, 2 Eviscerates. It's 15. Plus, yeah, Shiv, that's 16.
Thank you.
So, if they just able to piece together a decent board here, it's going to be really intimidating to come back from.
Yeah. Let's see if this sets up lethal. They're going to push 1 damage to face. They have 9, 10 on board with the dagger hit. And then, how much damage from hand? 7 plus 8, 15?
16.
Holy moly, they
Yeah.
do.
So they have lethal if Devilstorm takes it easy. They just play Azure Drake and pass, and that's it. But if they have the game sense to be able to play Wild Pyromancer quality here and then toss out the Acolyte of Pain, they're still in it.
But then there goes their quality clear. So if a Big Van Cleave comes out or another Gadget and Auctioneer, then they're in some trouble. But this is a lot of damage to take. I don't think you can afford to go with Azure Drake here.
Yeah.
I think that Tempo Storm's going to settle. But let's go and listen in and hear what they're thinking through.
Silver, or we can trade the Acolyte into true silver next turn. Like, we're gonna likely to get a true silver. I think you have to clear
or
here.
Aldo. I'm actually even thinking more about Aldo.
Yeah.
I think a
Okay,
big
so
goal.
we should clear this turn, right?
Yeah, we have to.
Yeah, I think it's okay. I mean, there's just no way that we can let 10 damage sink in when our hand is this bad.
Yeah.
If they have the second Auctioneer or the Edwin, I mean,
We have 2 knights where we can find another equality.
that one's tough.
Wait, shift to the face. What does that mean?
It's good for us. It's good for us.
That Shiv is fine.
That's-
There wasn't
okay.
a trick either.
I can
back
Azure
His
Drake.
hand is all damage. His hand is like all damage, basically.
Okay, so it was.
Yeah, we can't let anything stick.
If I Azure Drake, I can find True Silver
But if you
or Aldo.
you can find a 3, right? That buffs as well. Like Seal of Champions is good.
Okay.
Or
But other than that,
There's a lot of bad ones though.
there's
you
a
can
lot of
play
bad ones.
Concentrate, I guess.
It's close.
I think the Knight's okay. If we get Humility, we just go Pyro Humility as well.
Okay, go the Knight.
Some draws.
Or do I ever trade Acolyte now?
No, you don't trade.
No.
First, do you? Yeah, because you can get a buff to kill it with.
Actually, yeah,
But
go
I
Iron
can
Knight.
also draw a card. Like I can.
Yeah, but I think it's just better to get a buff.
Trade first then, or?
Humility.
No, we said we do this. Avenging Wrath or Kodo or Smugglers.
I think we go for the Kododo.
Maximum heal.
Maximum heal instead.
Avenging Wrath. His hand is all damage.
Maybe it's Wrath. Go for Wrath.
Yeah, it's Wrath.
It's your power.
Reporting for duty.
We're one off, right?
Yeah.
We can conceal. They
No,
have
we're
no
18 plus
equality.
4. That's how much we have.
They
Please
can deal with
conceal.
conceal.
Yeah,
right?
no, wait, what they heal for? They healed for 6. They probably have Enter the Coliseum.
It doesn't
Or
matter.
the Avenging Wrath. It could be Avenging Wrath, so
It
we should
doesn't
play
matter for us
counter.
either.
Do we play Cold Blood here? No, right? We want the burst to be a surprise.
Yes.
Wait. If it's Enter the Coliseum and they heal, if we get the Cold Blood in now, and then the Enter the Coliseum wins, we get the damage again, right? And it might be relevant if they go Enter the Coliseum into heal.
Yeah, I think there's no reason to disguise it, right?
So
No, we disguise
just,
it every time. But I mean,
we disguise it, but we Cold Blood. We Cold Blood it, right?
Oh, but not the blessing.
It doesn't matter. I think Cold Blood's enough for lethal. I want to have lethal pass Enter the Coliseum into like.
and just conceal. And we punch the face, right?
No, it's fine. I want to have lethal pass Enter the Coliseum plus whatever.
So they can bump the Acolyte as well.
It's only Consecrate into Avenging Wrath. That's the only way they kill, right?
So they're going Pyro Avenging Wrath.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah, we can draw Forbidden Healing as well.
As long as we clear the 8-4, I think we're alive for at least one more turn.
Come on. Oh, 5 in a row face. Wow.
That's good though. We got the. Oh my god.
Oh, we actually hit something. Okay.
Oh nice. Oh, we can't play that.
Can we play that? No, we actually can't play that.
Do I go for the Doomsayer?
I think he's just gonna go face if you go for the Doomsayer. I think he just maintained the board here, right?
Yeah, he has no conceals left. You just hear power.
Yeah. Agreed. Because
How much damage do we have
we
next
can actually
turn?
set up lethal next turn with the Anyfin or something. But our board is more valuable right now, I think.
Yeah, we have to hero power here.
He
I
used
think we have
one
lethal.
fan and he used the shifts, so we don't expect a fan.
No, we have to hero power. Hero power. I
Yeah,
want the
yeah.
rogue.
I was thinking. No, I was only thinking about the Doomsayer. They have backstabs, but they can't use them.
A little anyway.
Yeah, play the top deck one. Tilt them.
Suddenly Knife Juggler. Yeah, you can just do that.
Hunter left. Same guy, so.
What do we have for Hunter if we lose this?
Not looking good for Team Temple Storm.
It's looking pretty good for Team Liquid fans, that's for sure. The Rogue got left open again. This is why we're always worried about leaving some of these really powerful classes like Rogue open. Shaman seems to be kept in check, at least for today. But Rogue, over the past week, TJ, has been dominant, to say the least.
Yeah, it really has. Yesterday we saw Luminosity, even though they lost the series, they were able to take multiple wins with the Rogue. And now for Team Liquid, they still have Priest and Mage left as well in their arsenal to fight up against the Hunter, which is the last remaining deck from Tempo Storm. All of their hopes and dreams lie with this Hunter, with Rexar. Can he do it for them? They have had success with Hunter in the past, in the Trinity Series, but this is a tall task.
Yeah, asking Hunter to win 3 in a row against one of the 3 best classes in the game is going to be really tough right now. which is, a little bit ironic given that people didn't have high expectations for Rogue going into Mean Streets of Gadsden. They saw, they didn't really get anything useful. They got some stealth stuff. They got Shadow Rager, and people were just, complaining a lot about the state of Rogue. But a few people definitely did see the potential in Rogue. They saw Counterfeit Coin being really strong. And as soon as they saw the Pirate Package and people slid into Rogue, they realized how strong that would be too. And with the existing questing adventure builds prior to Mean Streets of Gadgetzan, it's not really that surprising to see Rogue really on the upswing and one of the dominant classes for now. And with that opening hand from Team Liquid, once again, small-time Buccaneers start things off.
And Tomb Villager as well.
It's going to be tricky because Tempo Storm is playing what looks like to be a Desert Camo build once again up against a deck that has plenty of one-mana minions to combat it. It's going to be really tough for Tempo Storm here.
Yeah, granted, the one-mana minions, if small-time Buccaneers played on turn 1, is weighted towards Swashbuckler, which is actually not a bad pull to the deck because that's just extra resources that they're getting rid of. And even though by pulling a one-drop out of your opponent's deck with Desert Camel, you're effectively giving it charge, since you usually can't interact with your one-drop on the turn, but they can attack with it on their following turn. The 1/1 is really not that big of a deal. It's a small-time Buccaneer being pulled that becomes a liability. And we'll see what the keeps are. Eaglehorn Bow is the only keep for Tempo Storm. And they do find some early game stuff. They find Kindly Grandmother, which can be pretty powerful. And Tempo Storm can't feel good after seeing the 4th out of 5 total games small-time Buccaneer. But let's go now and listen to Tempo Storm and see if they can formulate a game plan.
Yeah, Animal.
Oh, I can't see.
I can't see.
It's Rag, Animal, and Quadir. It's Quadir, Animal, and Rag.
Companion. I think it's Animal Companion.
Rag, so it's always Companion then, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good that I didn't have to toss a deadly shot.
Yeah.
I mean,
They don't have healing there.
I can't just play until I get a hard decision.
Yeah, it's pretty obvious.
Yeah, I
A
agree.
lot.
Is there a world where we cold blood that?
No. We call by like 2 minions sick, so
Yeah, we have conceal. Yeah.
It's for sure Companion.
I'm not sure.
The
I mean, if
Grandmother
you
is
could-
like more likely to stick around, but if we get a
Yeah.
4 health, it's also better because we get to kill command next turn.
I don't hate the Grandmother, but
Like, you can also kill command with the Grandmother.
Oh, it's gotta be Companion, right?
yeah, like turn 5.
If it's 4 health, we just hit into the 1/1 and then we can kill command the 4-drop.
You can also like play Count in the Grandmother next turn potentially
I
into
think
like
we will hit into the
600
patches no
Rhino
matter
1/5.
what. With the bow.
See what we get.
To my side.
Yeah, I definitely
Yeah.
have to bow the patches.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
There's nothing else even to do anymore.
Just when it rains, it pours for the Tempo Storm, as Huffer is the only one that they didn't want in that situation. Face damage means next to nothing against Rogue at this stage.
It's
But
just so weird to say, especially in this matchup historically. Hunter has always been the one that says, I don't care about face damage. It's the Rogue that should.
And now Team Liquid can just set up a 2-turn lethal effectively. Next turn they just go questing Cold Blood Conceal.
And that's it.
And that's probably it. Yeah, I mean, it's...
Houndmaster is the only way that can really stop that. And Team Liquid effectively got another turn 5, turn 6 kill here.
Yeah. Now, Temple...
Stay with me, TJ. One more week. One more week. One more week. As shrieks everywhere, or sorry, as players everywhere shriek in excitement in the upcoming patch.
Yeah, now I really hope that those changes come before Trinity Series, next week.
I mean, it's supposed to be on patch Tuesdays. We'll see.
Yeah, we can hope so, because that's really going to shake things up for next week. I mean, like, teams will have to be on the forefront of innovation. They're going to have to be better at deck building than Frodan and I.
Well, that's not really much of an accomplishment, is it?
Yeah.
I guess we just give out prize money for free these days.
Yeah.
Looks like they're going for the line that you mentioned here. Cold Blood Conceal, and that's going to be all she wrote here, unless Templestorm picked up Houndmaster or Deadly Shot. Deadly Shot is a way they can get out of this mess as well, something that we didn't account for. But Deadly Shot specifically has to hit the 9-4. Actually, I apologize. Houndmaster won't be an out in this position. No, sir.
And that's Tempo Storm's run in this match coming to an end as Team Liquid takes 5 wins with the Rogue, comes back from a 3-1 deficit to win the series, and all smiles for Nyria as Team Liquid takes the series 6-3, and also tie Complexity at that first place slot. They're even in game wins. They have a different win-loss percentage, I believe, but both of those teams, Liquid and Complexity, have almost secured their spot. I believe they just have to like win 1 game next week in order to make those tiebreakers go in their favor 100% of the time. But they've pretty much secured it. Their spot at the live finals coming in, and actually coming up pretty quickly. It's in mid-March. I believe it starts March 15th.
Finals 16th.
16th through 18th. Yeah. I'll be on the 15th hanging out with
Hopefully
all the players
we can get
cool.
all the players' visas in and through, but it'd be really exciting to see what ends up happening for the top 4, as I do believe that after 6 weeks of play, we have 2 teams above the rest, and we have 4 teams right smack dab in the middle. So what ends up becoming exciting for Week 7 is what teams will be arising and what teams will be falling.
Yeah, but one team that's risen to the top over the past couple weeks, Team Liquid, and we're joined by Nyria, who's here to join us for an interview. Hey, man, can you hear me?
Hey, what's up?
Yeah, how much do you enjoy Rogue right now?
It's pretty good when you don't drop patches. I enjoy it pretty much if you don't drop patches.
Yeah, I will agree with you. It's probably one of the most fun decks in the game when you don't drop patches. Even when you do drop patches, it's pretty fun. But you guys have all but secured your spot for the live finals. I believe there's only a 0.001 chance that you guys don't make it. So how do you feel? How does it feel to be coming here to Burbank to participate in the live playoffs?
I'm not really sure if we qualify because it depends on the game score, right? And a lot of teams in the last week can go 4-3. Like 6 teams can go 4-3, and then it'll be kind of tricky. So we gotta perform next turn. Next match.
I think if you guys win 1 game next week,
really,
you're in. I think so.
Oh.
So don't promise him, TJ.
I'm not promising you, but you guys have enough game wins and win percentage so that even if the teams go 4-3, you're still feeling. But let's still use it as an if. So if you guys make it to live finals, which is likely at this point, how would it feel for you and your team?
It will be awesome. We like to hang out with each other once more. We met last time together at DreamHack Summer last year. So it will be a cool experience for us again to hang out with each other.
Yeah, rumor on the street is that the second time Dog meets you is the time he takes his shirt off for you. So that should be really good for you guys. But
not true.
Dan says it's not true.
First-hand experience, not true.
I know for a fact it is. But moving on to you guys' run throughout the Trinity Series so far, it seems like you guys keep improving from week to week. You had I don't want to call it a shaky start, but not the best start, and now you guys seem to be unstoppable as far as teams are concerned. Have you guys changed anything from week to week? Talk to me about what you guys do from week to week in the Trinity Series to prepare.
I think we figure out kind of the strategy that we build the counters and the soft counters, so we don't struggle against any deck in particular. We kind of worried about the warrior this week, so we tagged every deck to beat it. Kind of just few decks, not only the one counter. So I guess that's what Tempo Storm didn't look for. They had only one counter to Rogue, which was Warrior, and they just didn't have anything else to beat it.
Yeah, we actually talked. Yeah,
that's what we improved. Besides communication, that was already good. On week 2-3.
Yeah, you guys definitely seem to be the team that is at the top as far as communication goes and friendliness. And last question for you. It seems like after today that Show's haircut is bringing you guys good luck. Are you guys all going to get matching haircuts when you make it to the LAN finals?
I'm going to do, but not matching. It might be as short as on the sides, you know?
All
right.
Maybe a Team Liquid symbol shaved in the side of your head.
A nice fade. I like it.
Yeah?
Maybe not.
Maybe not. Okay. Well, you got my hopes up. So just for that, I look forward to seeing you guys if you can make it to the live finals. Thanks for joining us, and good luck in your matches next week.
Thank you.
Another week in the books, TJ.
Another week in the books. And boy, what a week it was.
Yeah, it was very exciting coming down to the wire today. It was really long again, but it's to make up for yesterday because yesterday's games were too fast.
Yeah. Let's go and take a look at the standings now that we have just one more week of play left. Complexity Team Liquid sit at the top of the standings here with a 4-2 score. They're not guaranteed to make it to those live playoffs, but it's very likely for them at this stage. As long as they get a good number of wins next week, their tiebreaker should be good. But, all of the teams down there at the bottom, every single one, including Cloud9, I still think they have a couple permutations that can get them there.
Certainly.
Alliance, though, unfortunately, they're out of the running. But, this is more than we could have hoped for going into week number 7 is 7 teams, 4 spots, 1 dog.
0